Here we go. Evening, everyone. I am visible tonight, so I figured I would give this a try since I got a webcam all set up and ready for my actual class stuff coming up. I figured I'd give it a test with you guys, right? So we'll see how this turns out. We'll see if this works, or we'll see if the ants decide to come inside again, because as usual, rain happens. That happens. If that does happen, then I will naturally panic, fly off the handle in a rage, and start swatting my desk. And, that'll be a lot of fun for everybody. So, and you'll even get to see it. Otherwise, if you do not get to see it, then great. It means there are no ants in my room, which is really the best. Love it when there are no ants in my room. And in any case, all that aside, with my new streaming software set up and my new streaming hardware set up, we are good to get back into Mass Effect 2. We're going to be going into the two final recruitment missions before the sort of midpoint of Mass Effect 2. We might get to that midpoint mission, which is Horizon. If we do get to Horizon, cool. I'm totally not against going for it. I am kind of dragging my feet about some of the side quests, and the main reason for that is for I'd like to get a lot more of my squad mates together before I do so. So after this week, if we do finish Horizon, we're probably going to do maybe a couple more recruitments, then tons of side quests, loyalty missions. That'll take quite some time until we are the end game. Hi, Kylie. Good to see you. Good to hear from you. Good to see me, I suppose. I exist. I am corporeal and not a mere voice and cursor. It's crazy. Not that you don't know this, given that we have met in person. We work together, and we are, yeah. So I do in fact exist. For those of you who have not seen me in person. Exist. And what are you doing not seeing me in person? I have lots and lots of videos on my channel that are me in person. That is just what I look like. Although usually I have hair. Did that thing that people do when they go insane due to lockdowns. Cut all my hair off. I think it worked out okay. Erica helped, obviously. My wonderful wife. So yeah, I hope it looks okay. I'm gonna be kind of glancing over to my right, which is where my little camera frame is, and just awkwardly making sure that my hair still is gone. Anyway, let's see. Let's check our messages and whatnot. This is a DLC. We'll get to it eventually, but it'll be a while. Yeah, let's. I think we're going to recruit the convict first. The convict before the Krogan. We just did a good deal of the Firewalker missions. Those are the missions for the Hammerhead. That is the little hover tank thing. There's still about half of those left, and that is going to come back in that Overlord DLC, which I was looking at. But not just yet. See, a couple more of those. We're not going to do the secure the smuggled cargo one just yet. We definitely need an additional squad mate for that, because that mission is a pain. As usual, feel free to let me know if volume is too high or too low. I think I have the streaming software set up to properly mix the audio now, unlike last time. So hopefully everything should be properly balanced. If anything is way too loud, let me know. If anything is, it probably won't be way too quiet, but if it's a little too quiet, also let me know. Do what I can to fix it. Also, I'm... given the webcam, I'm a little concerned about an audio echo, so if that happens, or if that shows up at any point, tell me immediately, and I will fill it. If there's one thing I can't stand for streams, it is an audio echo that the streamer has no idea about, and no one tells them for some reason. It's All right. As promised in my most recent post, just a couple hours ago, this is the first mission tonight, and it is going to bring up all sorts of issues having to do with criminal justice. So, quote, the prison ship Purgatory. There's a lot of afterlife-y kind of imagery in Mass Effect 2. Because, Shepard dies at the beginning, naturally. So, owned by the notorious Blue Suns Mercenary Company. We've tangled with them a few times. Purgatory was once an ARC ship used to hold agricultural animals. Now it's used to hold prisoners, whether taken in battle or sold by unscrupulous politicians under the name of subcontracting and outsourcing. Rumors abound that the Blue Suns turned skilled or fit prisoners over to Batarian slavers, but few have ever seen the transaction and lived to tell about it. Its population is listed at 4,350, but independent journalists estimate it is nearly 3 times that in periods of overcrowding. So yeah, lots and lots and lots of issues having to do with this. Things having to do with privatization of prisons, prison keeping for profit, the idea of imprisonment in general and how that works and how that could work and how that should work and how that should not work. This should not work is a lot of what we see here. And then, as will come up again in other times, indenturehood. Right? There's a lot of indentured servitude in this game because we're out in the fringes of Citadel space, where the Council doesn't exactly have an iron fist. So bad things are happening, and if not bad, then certainly unscrupulous things are happening. So we'll have to see and talk about the issues that this raises as they come up. Howdy, WizKid. Yes, my face exists, and it is before you as you type. We're spamming, yes. I got one of these for actual teaching. I'm going to be doing some stuff online, obviously. So, I don't think I need to do a shout out for this thing, but a very special thanks to St. Leo University for providing this webcam for me. I am shocked and amazed that they were able to do so. I asked their IT department if I could borrow some equipment for recording and streaming and video chatting and conferencing and stuff, and unexpectedly I got a response back that they would happily put in a purchase order for me. They did, and it turned out phenomenally, and I could not be more grateful to them, except perhaps more that I am more grateful to you guys for showing up, hanging out, and your contributions for making this game happen. Anyway, chilling. It's not like I'm actually getting anything out of this. I already got the cool stuff. I don't need to chill. Anyway, but let's jump into the mission. Who should I bring for this? Definitely Kasumi, probably Miranda? Yeah, seems about right. Nah, it's Blue Suns. I feel like I should take Zaid and the criminal mastermind Kasumi. Yeah, story-wise, I should definitely take... what is her alternate? It's Red. Red is a target. Why would she have Red? I like it. I like Red for Zaid, so let's take these two. We've got our founder of Blue Suns and our criminal mastermind to go infiltrate the Blue Suns prison. Let's do it. This is not the most optimized party gameplay-wise, but I'll manage. Probably. We'll see. If I die a lot, then I die a lot. It happens. Charge time or... What's the evolve for this? Or yeah, let's go flashbang. That's really neat. Like it. Definitely tough call, but I gotta go with passive shot. Oh, concussive blast. Definitely for Mass Effect 2, there is a... I'll point out why this is the case later on down the line. But by far, you definitely want to do area effect powers, especially for movement. crowd control effects. We'll see as to why it has to do with some of the later enemy types. Yeah, let's go with Singularity Projector. We got a lot of infantry in this one. Matic and Incisor, yeah. Focused Phalanx, yeah, that'll do it. Cool. Let's go for it. WizKid says, it feels good to be able to finally be able to use my computer again. I bet that I have... I've had similar issues, thankfully not too recently, but yeah, having to switch from your usual setup to something else is, especially if it's a severe downgrade, is incredibly irritating. Last time I had something similar was my tablet. One of the various times my tablet has broken down. It's definitely irritating, especially when I use it every day to teach. And there are ants beginning to invade my setup, as I feared. Hate rainy season. Or I should say ant season.
Welcome to the Purgatory, Shepard. Your package is being prepped and you can claim it shortly. As this is a high-security vessel, you need to relinquish your weapons before we proceed.
Oh, are we having buffering issues? Uh-oh. About that. I'm hoping that is not that is not as a result of me trying to also stream webcam. Should be fine though. We'll see. No, go to hell.
I'll relinquish one bullet. Where do you want it?
Everyone stand down. Commander, I'm Warden Kirill, and this is my ship. Your weapons will be returned on the way out. You must realize this is just a standard procedure.
It's my standard procedure to keep my gun.
Let them proceed. Our facility is more than secure enough to handle 3 armed guests. We're bringing Jack out of cryo. As soon as the funds clear, you can be on your way. If you'll follow me to out-processing for the pickup, Commander.
Let's go.
Cell Block 2. As you can see, we keep tight control over the population. Each prisoner's cell is a self-contained modular unit. I've blown a few out the airlocks as an example. The ship is made up of 30 cell blocks identical to this one. We house thousands of criminals. We can put the whole place in lockdown on a moment's notice. Nothing goes wrong here.
Okay. So incredibly high security, especially with that immediate threat of horrifying murder. So that's an interesting setup for an extremely high security prison. First of all, I'm not sure how necessary the whole threat to space people and then actually doing so would be. So this strikes me as a bit sadistic on the part of Warden Kirill here. So let's ask about him. What's he have to offer for this? Who is he? What does he do?
How'd you end up running this ship?
I was in law enforcement on Palaven and got sick of seeing criminals escape out into the galaxy to carry on with their crimes. Bounty hunters aren't dependable.
You're not hiring the right ones.
Eventually I hit upon this idea. Keep the criminals in space and the galaxy is a safer place.
You do this because you think it's necessary?
Every day I see the worst sapient life has to offer. Governments are soft, unwilling to make the hard choices. Someone had to stand up and make the galaxy safe.
WizKid, it might not be you. I did fiddle with the settings, so it might be that the dialogue's actually kind of quiet. So if it keeps up after this conversation, I'll see if I can fix it. Oh yeah, WizKid says, also sick to be able to watch your stream, interact, and play my Switch without even having to leave my desk. Yeah, that is, I will say that is one of the cool things about the Switch is its modularity as well. I kind of dig that a lot. I am going to be keeping a lookout on the right because, as I mentioned, I have an invasion of ants into this corner of the house. Mentioned, I think. That's unfortunate. Hopefully that'll Hopefully they'll get bored of me squishing them under my thumb, and they will back off and solve itself, but it probably won't, so. Yay, I hate this season. I hate summer. Anyway, yeah, so like I said, if the dialogue stays quiet, fix it at some point soon after this, because I'd have to alt-tab, yada yada. I don't have to.
You do this because you think it's necessary?
Every day I see the worst sapient life has to offer. Governments are soft, unwilling to make the hard choices. Someone had to stand up and make the galaxy safe.
Okay. I don't know if I buy that, given that he just ejects people into space, but this is maybe an interesting point, right? You can have people who begin a project like this out of the best of intentions, but as they find themselves in the position to be able to exert this kind of power over people, they'll move more and more and more towards tyranny, right? In the sort of psychological sense that I'm usually talking about. WizKid says it's an interesting idea, keeping criminals on a spaceship so as to both keep them away from people and make it harder for them to escape. Yes, very much so. I mean, same concept as Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1. I think they portray it a little bit better in at least one sense, right? That in Guardians, and actually in a lot of media, the kind of space prison idea, the idea is that actually Star Wars does this as well with Kessel, like the whole planet of Kessel, at least in the expanded universe, in the Legends continuity. The idea is that you don't need high security because there's nowhere for them to go. There's nowhere for them to escape to. So it's not like you have to worry about prisoners escaping, because where are they going to go in space, right? Do I have any Amdro? I don't know what that is, Kylie. Sorry. Actually, I probably do. As soon as you tell me what it is, I'll know exactly what you're talking about. But I don't know the term. I don't recognize the term at the moment. Sorry. But yeah, in this case, we seem to have the idea of, well, prisoners can't escape in space, and that's great. But we also have on top of it this massively expensive, as well, high security. And like I said, I think this, in a large part, boils down to the warden and the other guards and loose ends in general kind of developing a taste for something like sadism. And you see this in something like the Stanford Prison Experiment and similar studies where you see once people are given this kind of absolute power, absolute authority, they immediately begin to abuse it. And so again, this goes back to the much more ancient idea than this phrasing, but absolute power corrupts absolutely, and this is nearly absolute power, at least over some people. WizKid says, I mean, there is the issue of them hijacking it, but it could be worse, to be honest. Yeah, if they hijack a ship which, if I'm not mistaken, if I understand this correctly, the ship is not capable of FTL. So if they hijack a ship that can't go very far in the middle of deep space, okay. I mean, really, that just means they all starve to death or die when life support runs out, right? Because the facility is entirely dependent upon outside resources. Oh, Kylie, Kylie says it's an ant poison. The thing that looks like crumbs that you put on anthills to trick the ants into taking the. Yes, I use it outside. It's not very good for. It's not as good for inside, and also it will also kill pets and children. Serge is old enough probably not to pick stuff off the ground and immediately eat it, but the cats will never be old enough not to do that, so I don't do that inside. I do have it's called Taro. Similar idea, but it's liquid, it's like a gel. I'm definitely going to be putting some of that around my office when we're done streaming this evening. What in the world? I'll tell you. That said, this area, the area that I live, is essentially just like a mile diameter anthill. Pretty much our neighborhood is just ants. I've talked to a lot of my neighbors who have exactly the same problem. And my neighbor's well down the street, like a block or two away. It's a problem. It's just the area, and it's also a new neighborhood, newish development in the last 5-6 years. So ants are still there. They haven't been driven out by everyone poisoning the living hell out of them for years on end. Yeah. WizKid says, yes, the all-consuming tendency of power to twist and contort everything it touches. What fun. Again, read Plato. It's all there. It's all in Plato's Republic. Yeah, the ants. Yeah, it's insane. I poisoned an anthill. A new one pops up like 3 feet to the left in like a week or two. And yeah, when it rains, especially when it rains, they come inside. And we keep the house almost immaculately clean so they don't have food and stuff, especially this season, but it doesn't matter. They'll just come in to seeking shelter. It's awful. Which, keeping the house immaculately clean is very difficult with a 2-year-old. Tell you what.
Maintaining a population this size in space can't be cheap.
We can cut corners that governments can't, and each prisoner brings in a fee from his homeworld. These individuals are violent, and their home planets pay well to keep them here.
Yeah, so this is a potential model for for-profit prisoning. Imprisonment? Yeah, imprisonment. Where basically somebody has a criminal on their hands who is convicted, etc. And it is worth more to them to have somebody else restrain them safely. Of course, what this means is that, well, there's all sorts of problems with this as well. Like, first of all, corruption, but that's endemic to any kind of governmental system where imprisonment is a possible punishment. But you also have something like the potential re-victimization of the victim, right? All of these prisoners here are here because they did horrible things to people, right? And then their governments are the ones that are imprisoning them. Typically, at least generally, that's kind of the idea. The issue there is that fee that they pay is paid by taxation, and the victims of these prisoners, the victims of these criminals, are part of the tax base. So the victims are having their money taken away from them to house the people who victimized them. This is a problem with state prisons in general. This is public or private. This is an endemic problem. And honestly, it's an endemic problem to the criminal justice system as such, right? As distinct from tort law or tort or contract or any kind of voluntary legal system, where the end goal is to recompensate the victim. Especially tort law. This is primarily tort law. WizKid says, I love it when Spurgy monarchists try to act like these are all new concepts. They have the audacity to call you uninformed. Also, hey, look, it's what they should do for schools. Meaning, like, outsource, or meaning put them in space? I assume you mean outsource, because we're not very good at putting things in space just yet. Tesla is trying, or not Tesla, Musk is trying very hard, but progress is slow, naturally. Faster than it ever was with NASA in charge, I'm just saying. But yeah, all of Western philosophy is just a series of footnotes to Plato, as they say. I tend to prefer a slightly different formulation of that. Like, I don't think everything that anyone has ever thought in the Western canon, so to speak, is contained within Plato, and it's just the footnotes. But I do think that basically all of Western philosophy has Plato in its footnotes. Everything at least refers back to something Plato said somewhere. Vouchers. Okay. WizKid says, I mean the whole the money goes where the student thing. Vouchers. It's an improvement. Vouchers have their own problems. Primarily because they exercise government control, right? They pull the purse strings control over private schooling a lot more than is the case now. It's already the case now to an extent, and in some cases it's to a reasonable extent, but there's a danger of that getting out of control, and that basically turning private schools into public schools because of the funding ties, right? Or at least basically transforming the entire public school program into a charter program, or sorry, the entire private school system into charter schools or something like charter schools, which are good, but sometimes not the best. then there's also the issue of just cost inflation, right? If you give parents a certain amount of money to give to a school, it's the same third-party payer problem that makes college tuition skyrocket, right? With government secured loans, all that. It's the problem where if you give parents X amount of money, education is going to cost X amount no matter what quality of service you get. Right? So there's that issue, which again is not as bad of a problem as some of the problems we have now. So it's probably an improvement, but it's not perfect. It's far from perfect. It's not a silver bullet. Tilt this down a little bit. Sorry. My head's actually kind of centered. And then of course there's the other issue of if you don't do that, then you've got just a slush fund for homeschooling parents who are usually pretty trustworthy with their kids, but this might also incentivize not so trustworthy parents to homeschool and pocket most of the money and not do a good job educating their children, yada, yada, yada. All of these are potential issues that would need to be dealt with. But like I said, I do think it's a vast improvement over the current public school system. So WizKid says, yeah, that's fair. It all goes back to Greece in some way or another, talking about Plato. Or at least until we discover some long-lost older civilization. Egypt. The ancient Greeks credited most of their thought and their discoveries to the ancient Egyptians. Whether that's true or not, they did. Socrates was basically the equivalent of an Egypt weeaboo.
What happens if the homeworld doesn't want to pay?
We explain that we can't maintain the prisoner without their help, so we'll be forced to release him back onto his homeworld at an unspecified place and time.
Sounds a bit like extortion.
You don't have to agree with my methods, but don't question my motives. These are despicable people, and I'm keeping them locked up.
Yeah, that's sketchy as hell, but I get it. Okay. It's a lot more sketchy than just, here, have them back. Which you would think would be enough of an incentive, but apparently not.
Can you tell me about Jack?
Cerberus hasn't told you? Jack is the meanest handful of violence and hate I've ever encountered. Dangerous, crazy, and very powerful. You'll see soon enough.
Neat. Sounds like an ideal squad mate to take into combat with guns behind me.
Let's get on with this.
That'd be hell trying to escape from this place.
We're in space. They have nowhere to go, and they know it. But still, we exercise extreme caution. These are dangerous individuals.
That's neat. That's really cool.
Ways to control the population. I'm going to confirm that the funds from Cerberus cleared. Our processing is straight down this hallway. Just keep going past the interrogation rooms and the Supermax wing. I'll catch up with you later, Shepard.
Oh, that assault rifle's a Revenant that he had on. All right, so question: how is the audio? Is it still too quiet? Oh, this is why. Do that. Dialogue volume can go up a little bit. Everything else can stay pretty low, I guess. Music needs to turn up or whatever. Let me know in the chat. WizKid says, like the issues in the foster care system, too many bad actors. Yeah, and there's only so much you can do about that, really, without causing other problems. You know. WizKid continues interesting about talking about Plato. That has a lot of interesting philosophical, metaphysical connotations. Yeah, I tend to agree. There is a...
These are some sick freaks.
Okay.
Is there something I can do for you?
There's no excuse for beating a prisoner who can't fight back.
This is a massage compared to what his victims went through.
I mean, that might be true, but again, this is just vengeance, and we've talked about this endlessly. A lot last week, in fact.
This degrades you as much as him.
We have orders.
You're not important enough to make your own decisions.
I admit, I sometimes get tired of this. Does this really get us anything useful?
Stop this. For your own sake.
Yeah, you're right. Call it off. At least for now.
Kylie says she finally got a Keurig her campus apartment. Awesome. With the milk foamer, maker thingy attachment. Very cool. I used to have a Keurig. It was just the really basic like first edition Keurig, which was brand new when I went to college. It was the coolest thing ever. And then I basically moved on from it and got an AeroPress, which is what's in here. Which honestly I love. And recently I have discovered the joy. Recently, as in the last year or two, I've discovered the absolute joy of having a kettle in the house. This is not a common thing in the U.S. I gather it's a more common thing in sort of the rest of the Anglosphere, but American homes don't tend to have a kettle for hot water, and I love it. Love it so much. So many things. It's amazing. Anyway, highly recommend. If you don't have a kettle, you should. Cheap, too.
If you're buying prisoners, can you buy me? Man, I don't care where you take me or what you do to me. It's gotta be better than this.
Don't get your hopes up, kid. We're here for Jack.
Jack? Forget what I just said. I don't want to go nowhere with you.
That's creepy. That's a definitely bad sign about Jack. Kylie says, "Oh, I have an electric kettle for teas and stuff. And it's awesome." Yeah, I do too. I use it for coffee because the AeroPress it's literally just a plunger tube with a filter on the end that you put like over the cup and you press it down, and it's like an inverse French press. So like instead of pressing the grounds out of the coffee, pressing the grounds out of the coffee like a French press does, you press the water out through a filter, and the grounds stay compressed into this little puck thing. And it makes about espresso strength coffee, even just from coarse grounds. It works better with fine grounds, but coarse grounds work just fine. You just have to let it soak for a little while to sort of release all of the oils and stuff so it doesn't get bitter. But if you do, then you press it out and you get this little puck and you throw it away. And you've got espresso strength coffee. Then I fill the rest of the cup with hot water from my electric kettle. And make basically an Americano, and that's my go-to coffee drink. It's amazing. I can't recommend it highly enough. It makes mediocre Winn-Dixie brand coffee into decent to high quality espresso if you do it right. Which is what I'm drinking. I'm just drinking just a Winn-Dixie brand caramel flavored coffee, which not even Winn-Dixie brand. It's the SE Grocers brand, so it's their like meta brand, and it's phenomenal. No complaints whatsoever. It's very good. No bitterness. Flavor comes through well. Anyway, let's see why this guy is terrified to go anywhere where Jack is.
Tell me more about Jack.
The worst trouble you ever saw, mixed with some crazy and way too much biotic power. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, then.
I thought this ship was a prison, not a market.
Sometimes people buy cons so they can do some punishing of their own, if you understand. Warden sells this to whoever can pay enough.
That's not right. Yeah, so basically, people typically seem to buy prisoners, not for slave labor, but, just because they're sadists and they like having somebody to torture horribly. So, yeah, that lends some insight into the business practices of Blue Suns here. His kid says, "You coffee people are speaking Greek to me." Greek coffee is good too, man. Greek coffee is awesome. It is a light, Greek coffee is typically really light roast, fine ground, typically very sweetened, about the strength of espresso. It's in like a weird shaped kettle pot, like wide bottom, narrow top, put it over heat. The very traditional way, which I haven't tried but really want to, is you put it in hot sand, and depending on how high or low you put it, the hotter or cooler it gets. Really cool. Haven't tried that. So you put in usually it's equal parts coffee grounds and sugar, and then you pour it off, and the whatever grounds that go into the cup settle to the bottom, so you have this kind of dregs at the bottom. Very good. Very, very good. If you find good Greek coffee, try it. Turkish coffee it's very similar to Turkish coffee. Turkish coffee is spiced, though, rather than oversweetened. I know that was totally not what you were asking, WizKid, but off I go on it. I have never heard. No, WizKid, I've never heard of cat shit coffee. Is that like the monkey? Is that like the monkey poop one thing, or is that different? Let's see. How's life on the ship? While you tell me if this is the whole monkey poop thing.
What's it like here?
Bad. And you gotta watch out. Damn, but someone's always after your stuff. Your smokes, clothes, your pride.
Sounds like prison.
I haven't taken a shower in 3 months.
That sounds prisonish.
Why are they interrogating that prisoner? He knows something?
Nah, that's Bimmy. He don't know nothing. He offed someone in the showers yesterday, I think. Guy he killed was worth a lot to the warden. Yeah. Sucks to be Bimmy right now.
They're going at it pretty hard. Do they ever kill prisoners by accident?
Haven't heard of anyone dying. Warden can't make money off us if we're dead.
Hey Max, good to hear from you. I will fix
The more
that.
a guy does it,
Just a moment.
the meaner he gets. So they rotate him through.
See, that was, I think, a very explicit reference to the Stanford Prison Experiments, or I guess, you know, that. Yeah, so that actually is, that bears out the results of the Stanford Prison Experiment. There's been a lot of for and against discussion and research about this. I tend to think that it's true, not for, psychoanalytic reasons or psychometric. That's the term. Psychometric reasons, I think. But primarily because it bears out my a priori assumptions that power corrupts, right? And that's really what he's talking about. Oh yeah. So here, let me just give me a second. Let me see if I can just turn this up a little. Try that. Do this. Here. See if this is any better. Yeah, if that fixes the if that balances the sound a little better. I don't want to turn it up too much because combat gets super loud in Mass Effect 2. So if that becomes an issue, then that'll be an issue. Yeah, WizKid says, yeah, where they eat the coffee bean and it gets basically distilled in their digestion into a really, really fine substance, makes some kick-ass coffee. I have never actually tried any version of that. I've only heard of the monkey one, which is from Sumatra, I think. I haven't tried it. I'd give it a shot. It's really weird, but I'd give it a shot. What do you do?
So, what are you in for?
I killed a few people. Only about 20 or so. And I blew up that one habitat. Small time compared to most of the guys here.
Shocking that he does not try to, he doesn't try to claim that he's innocent like most prisoners would. No, I just killed like 20 people or so. And that's nothing. It's nothing. Alright, well, this is a crazy person. See you later, 780.
I should go.
Wish I could go.
Okie dokie then. With this guy. 403.
I hear the screaming in my head. It's nice, yeah.
Oh, it's still a little quiet. If it's still a little quiet, I can always fix it. Here, do a little more. Is it the dialogue that is quiet, or is it everything else? Because that'll actually change how I fix things. Because if it's the music and effects that are quiet, I can fix that in particular. But if it's the dialogue that's quiet, I can fix that. So I can fix everything. Whoop, there. Kopi Luwak is a coffee that consists of partially digested coffee cherries, which have been eaten and defecated by the Asian palm civet. Dialogue non-existent. Really? See. Dialogue's all the way up. So let me just turn up the gain on the capture, I guess. Let's do that. Hopefully this is okay. The cherries are fermented as they pass through the civet's intestines, and they're defecated of their fecal matter. They're collected. Huh. That actually sounds familiar with the civet, or however you pronounce it. Another ant. But that sounds super familiar, so that I may have heard of that at some point, but got it mixed up with something. All right, so there goes maximum security, and here is out processing.
Out processing's through the door on the far side of the room.
Okay then. Music is stopping. It's ominous. I wonder if something could be going horribly wrong.
My apologies, Shepard. You're more valuable as a prisoner than a customer.
Ruh-roh.
Drop your weapons and proceed into this open cell. You will not be harmed.
You talked up your noble intentions with this prison, but it turns out you're a criminal like the rest.
Activate systems.
Oh, he's not even gonna, like, defend himself? I'm honestly surprised. Let's zap that guy. And blast that guy.
Firing an impact shot. Who's next?
There we go. Is it civet? It's not like civet or something weird, is it? Ah, you called it. You haven't played this before, have you? So you, like, you know the plot. That is a thing that some people do. Go. All right. There's that ammo there, all dropping conveniently.
Reinforce out processing. Shepard is loose.
Oh no, Shepard's loose. Civet. Okay, so it's just not French, like I feared it might be. I'm always afraid that something is secretly French.
Hell of a shot.
Ha! Eat it!
Nice. I'm realizing that because I'm reading back through. I'm reading back through Myth of Religious Violence on my own to just kind of review for once I get around to it and I'm able to find it for the reading group, find the ebook for the reading group. There are a lot of French names that I'm going to have to struggle to pronounce. It's going to be a lot of fun for everybody to watch me try and fail. Let's go with Inferno Grenade. Inferno.
Look out!
Ooh. Okay. Yeah, Shep's armor. You like? Do you mean you like Kylie? Do you mean you like the glow, or do you like the actual armor underneath? I just customized the armor underneath. The glow is the Sentinel's kind of signature power tech armor, which is cool. WizKid says, "Oh, I've only played around half of 3, regrettably." Buddy, just, oh, poor guy. He really should not have drawn on me. It was a really bad choice. The tech armor, I will say, is probably is one of my favorite parts about the Sentinel class. It's so tanky for a small arms build. And when your shields break, it explodes, which is really neat. WizKid, keep an eye out. I would say keep an eye out for sales. It is very common for the entire trilogy, including the DLC, to go on sale. I'd definitely check that out.
I'm guessing that
The whole
hacking
thing
that
is
control
phenomenal.
will open all the cell doors at once.
It's the only way to get Jack out of there.
I'm doing it. Be ready.
Uh-oh. Bad idea time.
That's Jack?
That was from the thumbnail. WizKid says, I just picked up a moveset after the end of 3, a movie set after the end of 3 starring James from work, though. It sounded interesting. I believe that, if you're talking about Paragon Lost, that takes place between 2 and 3.
Heavy fighting up ahead. That girl's
I think it's actually might even be during the events of Mass Effect 2, because it involves the collectors. I won't say much more.
This might be useful.
Because I don't want to spoil anything, but I haven't seen it. James talks about the events of it in 3, though. It's pretty cool. I've heard it's very good. I've heard it is very, very good.
Sectors 7, 9, and 11 have lost life support. No survivors.
I need cover.
Look what Jack did.
At least she'll be easy to track.
Fire!
See, this is one of those things where, as soon as you get Jack in the party, see, she is suddenly not nearly this badass.
Down you go.
Oh, is it lagging again? Darn it. I thought I had it fixed, but it is possible that it's the camera that is causing the lag. Hopefully that problem will resolve itself, but I'm not seeing much lag on my feed. But if it is, if some other people are starting to see the lag, let me know, and I will turn down my video settings or something. You can always. The image is minuscule in the corner of the screen. I can always turn down the settings for that. Oh right, he doesn't. Yeah, he does.
Switch up.
Let's do that.
Shepard, the warden has locked down the area behind you. You must find another exit route.
Warning.
Okay, so Eddie, it might just be you, and I'll be honest.
This guard got swarmed by prisoners with improvised weapons. Never had a chance.
If you are streaming both on your computer and tablet and doing other things, you might be overloading your internet. That is a possibility. Not that one. Oh yeah, that one. And then I typically have to make sure that I don't have anything else running on my computer when I'm doing this sort of thing, and that I'm on a different Wi-Fi signal than Erica in the other room, just to make sure, because that can be an issue. Really? So it's lagging in like my face. Interesting. Okay, well, I'll try and move my face quicker to compensate. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Blocks 4, 7, and 8.
Okay, bunch of credits.
Engaging hostiles.
Darn it. Got him. Anyway.
The hull has been breached in sectors 12, 14, and 30. No survivors.
Combat-wise, this is, I think, one of the more difficult missions.
Firing!
Oh, you did impact shot. Okay. Let's do flashbang.
Concussive shots!
are really low. That's not good.
Going silent.
Saw that.
There we go. This is one of those that would also, I think, be much easier if I had a long-range weapon that is not a laser-sighted pistol.
Did I do that?
As you did.
Here they come. Going silent.
Okay. That's going to be a problem real soon. What it's time for?
Lights out. Get ready.
It's very bad. There we go. Okay. Wow, that was... What? There's more? Of course there's more. There's always more. Okay, well, we got grunting over there, so that seems to mean enemies, but who knows? Okay.
Find Jack. Full alert. Find Jack.
Aw. Shepard isn't the priority? Kind of feel left out. Pterodactyl scream. Yes, anyway, absolutely. Yeah, some of the... I will say, the repetitive enemy screaming is not quite as bad as it was in Mass Effect 1. Where there was just a constant barrage of enemies everywhere, I will destroy you, and like 2 more. They had very few enemy shouts in Mass Effect 1. 2, they've mixed it up a little bit. Oh, WizKid asks Jack like from Riddick. Maybe? I don't know if there is much of a if there's as much of a connection there, but maybe. He did not just snipe with that thing.
You're valuable, Shepard.
I know that gun.
I could have sold you and lived like a king. But you're too much trouble. At least I can recapture Jack.
Not happening. You're a 2-bit slave trader and I don't have time for it.
I do the hard things civil governments are unwilling to. This is for the good of the galaxy.
Oh. Hey, that did it.
All right.
Now let's keep her on there. And I mean, look, if your average prison guard is just kind of given a weapon and told, here, stand up to the most badass murderers and killers in the galaxy. I'm talking about Shepard and Jack, not the other prisoners so much. Yeah, it's gonna not work out too well for them.
Put him down.
Going dark.
Grabbing cover!
I need to move up somewhere at some point.
Heads up.
Change weapons.
Alright. He just, like... Bastards really got cover, huh? There we go. Got him. Okay. Here we go.
Stop!
Not smart.
Cerberus. What the hell do you want? You're in a bad situation, and I'm gonna get you out of here. Shit, you sound like a pussy. I'm not going anywhere with you. You're Cerberus.
Oh, God. It's been way too long since I played ME2, and I forgot about that. Oh, Jesus.
Why does it matter if I'm with Cerberus? They've been on my ass for years. Anytime I get free, they put a huge bounty on me. That's why Warden Curel figured he'd struck gold when he caught me. It isn't working out too well for him.
Yeah,
I'm
let's
working
not.
with Cerberus for now because they can help me. With them, for them, I don't care. You show up in a Cerberus frigate to take me away somewhere? You think I'm stupid?
Yes. Now, I don't want to get on her bad side because she will rip me inside out. Yeah, WizKid says, holy shit, she can use the Force. Yeah, biotics, man. Biotics. It's control over gravity, not technically telekinesis. But it's telekinesis, it's the Force. It's just blue-flavored Force. And yeah, WizKid says, I mean, technically, she's not wrong. Be nice.
This ship is going down in flames. We can get you to safety, and we're asking for your help.
We should just knock her out and take her.
I'd like to see you try.
I mean, okay, here's the other thing. Based on gameplay mechanics, we 100% could. Based on what the cutscenes we just saw, no way in hell. That's a big... I feel like that's a big issue with this game, that the NPCs and even the player characters become infinitely more badass in cutscenes than when they join your squad. This happens with Thane as well. Not as badly with Thane. Pretty bad with Samara, too. The biotics seem to be a problem for them.
We're not going to attack her. Good move. Look, you want me to come with you? Make it worth my while. Join my team and I'll do what I can for you. Don't make promises you can't keep. I bet your ship's got lots of Cerberus databases. I want to look at those files, see what Cerberus has got on me. You want me on your team? Let me go through those databases.
Hell yeah. Gain a new ally and thumb our noses at Cerberus? Well, absolutely. Yeah, WizKid says that's how most video games work, though, to be fair. Yeah, handy that. Especially action games. There are strategy games where no, not so much. Or sort of... actually, a lot of traditional CRPGs, it wasn't so much. Like, if I remember correctly, Baldur's Gate never did that. Like, there was no discrepancy between gameplay and like, cutscenes and things. Neither of the Baldur's Gates. Definitely not... what's it called? Dragon Age. Dragon Age Origins, especially, was really good about that. Everything was done in game mechanics except for a few cutscenes, and even those cutscenes basically used a lot of the the kill moves and stuff that you get in real gameplay. It was neat. It really avoided that kind of disparity, which admittedly for this it's a stylistic choice. It's very clearly a stylistic choice. It fits with the whole everyone is a super hyper competent mega badass, and you're the most elite squad in the galaxy, going to destroy everything. So of course everyone's going to be really, really cool in the cutscenes, but they can't really do. Especially because they would overshadow Shepard, and that's not acceptable for this game. Even though, kind of by my interpretation of Shepard's character, that's the heroine's journey, that might actually be okay. That's not the default, so maybe not. This is that blackberry wine again, by the way. WizKid says that's great. Of course, Origins is the best game for showing your partners in a realistic light. Yeah, we would think, especially in terms of, especially just in terms of RPG game mechanics. It's very straightforward. It's very complex though at the same time. I like all three of them. I just kind of have to accept that Dragon Age 2 was just kind of a transition piece, and that Inquisition should really be thought of as 2. And just kind of think of Dragon Age 2 as kind of more like Awakening, the DLC for Origins, than it is like its own separate thing. Yeah, whatever. Or maybe an introduction to Awakening. Especially originally, because I've mentioned this before, I think Hawk was supposed to be the main character, the player character for Dragon Age Inquisition. But Dragon Age 2 sold so poorly that they scrapped that and made a custom Inquisitor. It's just a little disappointing, honestly. I would have loved for Hawk to continue through and be the, as they were thinking, the sort of the shepherd of Dragon Age setting. Anyway.
I'll give you full access. You better be straight up with me. So why the hell are we standing here? Move out.
WizKid says, by your interpretation's absolutely justified. I think so, probably. Shepard still has to be the leader, but that doesn't necessarily mean she has to be the most badass, most competent, especially not in every area. So people can definitely, should be allowed to outshine Shepard where appropriate. And in cutscenes, you totally get that. So, yeah, I think so. Okay, so we got Jack. Cool. Got damage protection, which I have to research. The damage, which I'm not going to research yet. Can't afford it. Credits, EZO, 500. That's it. That's depressing. I need more Element Zero for a bunch of upgrades. WizKid says that makes me sad because I love Hawk. Yeah, absolutely. Hawk is one of my I don't know, top 10 or so original video game characters. He was still at the point where BioWare was doing really good writing.
Welcome to the Normandy, Jack. I'm Miranda, Shepard's second in command. On this ship, we follow orders.
Tell the Cerberus cheerleader to back off, Shepard. I'm here because of our deal. Miranda will let you into the system. Let me know what you find.
Hear that, Precious? We're going to be friends. You, me,
Any and every embarrassing little secret. I'll be reading down in the hold, or somewhere near the bottom. I don't like a lot of through traffic. Keep your people off me. Better that way.
Okay. Yeah, there is an ongoing conflict between those two. Because you get the, like, hyper Cerberus loyalist in Miranda. At the same time, you have the Jack, who is very understandably, given what we find out later, which I'll hold off on, but given what you find out later, very understandably hostile to Cerberus. We will find out why as we go, but it's definitely, you can definitely understand why. WizKid says, especially since talking about Hawk, he's really his own character. Like, I get there's a contentious part of his character, but it's still really well done. Yeah, and I mean, you can shift the character around by making different decisions to a pretty significant extent, but not nearly like the Warden in Origins, which is just a complete character creator. Hawk is Hawk. And I tend to think of Hawk as male Hawk, as Garrett Hawk, more than female, but regardless. I think of Hawk as a male mage, more or less blue with some purple, if you understand what that means. Because unlike Mass Effect, which has a binary Paragon Renegade, Dragon Age 2 had a decision-making thing, which was more or less blue for honorable and friendly, purple for lighthearted and sarcastic, and red for hostile and hardcore, maybe, something like that. And I see Hawk as being a good... I mean, you can do a combination of the three, and I've heard good arguments for sort of transitioning through the three as you go. Starting purple when he's really young, gradually moving towards blue as he's becoming kind of the paragon of the city, and then becoming red in, like, the third act once he's just done with this shit. And it's the whole Templar War thing. But yeah. Yeah, I really like Hawk. Good. What? I forgot about this upgrade. That's really cool. Sometimes when Shepard's shields go down, they're instantly fully restored. That's broken. It doesn't work too often, but when it does, it's really handy. Also, I don't let my shields go down very often, but whatever. Okay. WizKid says, oh my god, you've never played a mage in Dragon Age, which would definitely change things. Okay, first of all, how have you played Origins without having played a mage? Not for the story, nothing to do with story reasons in Dragon Age 1. But in Dragon Age 1, if you didn't play a mage, you chose the wrong class. Just from a mechanical standpoint, mage is the right choice. It is wildly overpowered in Dragon Age Origins, so do that. You will breeze through everything. Especially once you get those high-level, like, elemental spells, like Firestorm and the Storm spells. Good lord. You can just sit there, plop it down, plop the next one down, plop the next one down, sit in the next room, and watch everyone die. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
Jack's tattoos are beautiful. As colorful as her past, I'm sure. I have concerns with her temper, though.
I'm gonna ask, what do you mean, even though it's very obvious what she means.
You have worries about Jack?
I know she'll be solid under fire, but her attitude suggests deep personal issues. She pushes people away, yet approaches sex casually. I don't think she understands her own motivations. Just be careful when talking about personal matters.
Oh, WizKid, you've only played 2. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. 2's more balanced class-wise. Warrior, I have found, because I played all 3, I found Warrior to be kind of the weakest. You really depend more on your squad if you're a Warrior. You can output absurd damage as a rogue, and it's a lot of fun to just jump around between enemies and stuff. And Mage is probably the most powerful, but it's not nearly as overpowered as it was in 1. It's pretty well balanced, and you have a lot of versatility. And then, of course, it really fits well with the story. That also means Carver survives instead of Bethany. There's a big difference. Carver's a dick. But it's okay, he's your dick.
I'll do my best not to piss her off.
Please warn me if you fail. I want a chance to hide. Anyway, what's up?
Understandable.
Is there anything I should know?
Nothing right now. Anything else, Commander?
That'll be all.
Take care.
Yeah, so yeah, if you do play Origins, I do recommend it. It reminds me a lot more of the old CRPGs.
In 3 months.
Um,
Can't wait.
We're flying into the eye of the storm, and you're thinking about some Asari prostitute?
Hey, watch it. It's not like that at all. She's... You won't understand unless you meet her.
Me and Shepard's met her and exactly changed her life. Get it, fine, whatever. But anyway, Dragon Age Origins is it reminds me a lot of KOTOR, gameplay and sort of story writing.
Primary systems clear.
Knights of the Old Republic, especially the first Knights of the Old Republic.
Okay, Shepard, glad you're back, but keep an eye on that last one. We can only hold so much crazy.
Sure. We have a lot. It's a big ship, too.
I assume everything's going well up here?
Shh.
Joker?
I can tell when it's listening.
I am always listening, Mr. Moreau.
I know.
No, Joker. WizKid says, I played Rogue because I didn't know what to pick. But it works really well from a story standpoint. Also, I had Bethany survive for some reason. I thought it was gender-based. Nope. Because there needs to be a mage for the story to work. So the mage either has to be Garrett Hawk, your player character, or another Hawk, Bethany. If you play a mage, though, mage is already covered, and so Carver survives. Yeah, and he survives, and there is a chance, depending on what choices you make and how you interact with him, there's a chance he becomes a Templar, and Hawk is a mage. Yay! It's really good character conflict. Check it out. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. Especially the I don't know if you've played the DLCs. Bloodlines or something. I don't know, something to do with blood. No, Legacy. That's it. Legacy. Something Legacy. That one. That involves the Hawk siblings, the surviving Hawk siblings, and some other really cool revelations, and a main antagonist from later in the series. Preview of an antagonist. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I really like the Dragon Age series. Probably not as much as Mass Effect. I think I prefer Mass Effect overall. In part just because Dragon Age is kind of a bit of a crapsack world, where everything is bad and you're kind of struggling to make things not as bad. Whereas Mass Effect, everything's good and you're struggling very hard to prevent things from going to shit. Which I just prefer that kind of story. The kind of defending, which is ironic given me and my general tendencies, but I enjoy the whole, like, I don't know, the kind of conservative story where there's something good and you're trying to protect it, rather than there's something bad and you're trying to either fight it or build something out of it. It's a minor thing, but that's also why I can't really get into like post-apocalyptic settings like Fallout. They're good games. I enjoyed New Vegas a lot, but mostly just as a sandbox rather than trying to make a story out of it. Yeah. And then Dragon Age Inquisition, Mage is no longer the strongest class. It's probably the weakest class, but I think it fits the story pretty well. And it's a lot of fun to play. Mage is really fun to play. A lot of fun to play, and I think it does fit being a mage, but you don't have to be for the story to work. I do feel like Inquisition, though, is another one of those games where it makes much more sense for the Inquisitor to be a woman than to be a man, mage or not, because, one, the religious significance of women, with Andraste and all that in Dragon Age, and then also it's very much this kind of heroine's journey, the feminine story structure. Because you're not the hero, you're the one organizing the heroes again. So yeah, my 2 cents on the rest of the Dragon Age series. I probably have more to say about it in terms of specifics, but again, I might wait until we eventually play it, which we might eventually. We'll see. It'll be down the line, but I would be happy to do that. Maybe after Red Dead. After Red Dead, that might be good. WizKid says Fallout is an interesting case because you're simultaneously trying to make things better / keep it going and prevent it all from going to shit again. True, but things are pretty shitty regardless. Even where they're not that shitty, they're still pretty bad. I don't know. There's not. It's hopeful in the looking forward to things getting better sense, and I prefer the hopeful in the let's preserve what we've got sense. I guess I'm temperamentally conservative, maybe something like that. I hate change. That's all.
What do you think about the people we're picking up?
Well, about the ones you went
Erica
out with
will
last.
agree.
Zaid is like you, but takes checks. As long as it's not my money, we're good. I like Kasumi, but why do I feel like I need to check the Citadel for parts she may have pawned? It's just my opinion, though. There's really no need to go spreading it around.
That's it for now.
See you, Commander.
Yeah, you can ask my wife. I apparently abhor change. Not a fan. All right, so let's see if any of the squad mates have anything to say before we go and grab Grunt. The Krogan.
Commander, can I help you with something?
It's weird that I'm coming in here in this super short, busty dress.
Any thoughts on how to prepare against the
to
collectors?
specifically not flirt with
Got
him.
the best armor available. The rest
but
is outside
okay.
my expertise, Commander.
I'm more interested in just talking for a bit.
Stop.
I'm not big on forcing these talks, Shepard. Let's do this later.
Okay.
We'll talk later.
Bye.
Commander.
There is a reason why I want to avoid accidentally entering into a relationship with Jacob, and it has to do with the third game, not so much this game. I actually like the guy, and I think he would have been a cool romance option with Shepard, but it goes way off the rails by Mass Effect 3, so pump the brakes, Shep.
Shepard, how can I help?
Any ideas on other ways to prepare for the collectors?
Ideas, yes. Expensive, but possibly valuable. Can show you.
Yeah. What do we got? Morden, just specifically for him. Okay, fine. He gets increased tech damage. I hate how most of the squad mates have, really critical, mission important things that will help, everybody, and then Morden says, I know how to upgrade my Omni tool in particular so I can do more damage. Well, I mean, WizKid, yes, also because of Canadian Boy. Because of Captain Canada. Trying to think of something clever having to do with Toronto, because he's from Toronto. So I'll just leave it at that. He's from Toronto.
How can I help?
Anyway, yeah.
Have you got a minute to talk?
Yes, we'd like that, actually. Talked about work earlier. Time with Special Tasks Group studying genophage. It wasn't entirely honest. Lie of omission. Also, other kinds. Need to clear the air. Mission too important to keep secrets. Work on genophage was more than just study.
Yeah.
I had a feeling you were holding something back.
Apologies, classified information, but you've earned the full story. Need to know me, what I can do, what I did. Wasn't lying completely. Initially just did recon, but uncovered data. Troubling. Krogan population was increasing at faster rate than expected. Krogan were adapting to genophage, overcoming disease.
WizKid is surprised. Wait, he's actually Canadian? Yes. Both the character and the actor are both Canadian. So yes. It's from Canada. Caden Malenko is from Toronto. Is it Toronto? I think it's Toronto. Somewhere Western Canada. He talks about it in 3 at some point because he talks about his family. And growing up in kind of in the boonies in the rural Canada, and talks about how he likes to cook because he grew up on the lake house or whatever, and it's neat. He's a really cool guy if you give him a chance. And unfortunately, most people don't. WizKid says that makes sense though. Just like it makes sense that I would like Fallout because I tend to fall more in the middle, classically liberal. So as a result, I like trying to build systems dynamically. I get that. I see. Yeah, I totally get that. I think really this, I think, shows a lot of the difference between temperamental, like the temperamental basis, and the actual shaking out of political theory or political beliefs. Because you and I are relatively close, politically speaking, in terms of politics, from our discussions, at least here and elsewhere. But temperamentally quite different. And that's the same with a lot of people I wind up agreeing with. I'm temperamentally very, very different. I'm a huge, I would say, follower, acolyte. I've learned a hell of a lot from somebody like Tom Woods. I basically like to say that I agree with more or less everything he says in terms of politics. And yet, temperamentally, he likes New York City. I don't get it. I really don't. Now, he has said before he wouldn't want to live there, and I totally get that, but he likes the place. He likes going there, doing things. I'm just like, not my thing. But yeah, temperamentally, people can be very, very different from what their actual beliefs turn out to be, in particularly if they're introspective, if they really consider, if they really think through what they're gonna believe, and don't just kind of go with their first instinct. Ooh, excuse me. Wizkid says we agree on pretty much everything except for autism, apparently. That's complicated. A very complicated topic. And it has to do with our disagreements about autism and for what they are, which they're honestly minor, I think. It's more of an evaluative difference than anything, theoretical evaluative difference. And it comes down to my view on natural law, which I can talk about that if you like. Although I most highly recommend my lecture series. I got 3 lectures from a course on natural law that kind of explain that way of thinking that kind of leads me to what I've said in the past about autism. Quizkid says I'm not a fan of cities either, so we're similar in that respect as well. That's more recent. That's also especially more of a recent development for me as I've moved away from the city, because I grew up in suburbia, and I went to college in Urbia, in a fairly urban environment. Not extremely, but fairly urban. I liked being near everything, but once I moved away from the city, first back into the suburbs and then way the hell away from everything, I never want to go back. It's incredible. Unfortunately, or half fortunately, maybe a quarter fortunately, I am going to be going back to the city for teaching this semester. So I'm back to my old university to teach twice a week. That'll be fun, especially given that it has been one of the epicenters of the riots lately. Hooray. I'll try and avoid. Wizkid says it is. Maybe it's because I tend to feel autistic a lot anyway, because of my ADD, but also because I do believe that they're unique and should be respected. I've never been diagnosed because my parents basically refused to go to doctors who would diagnose me. But in retrospect, looking at symptoms and whatnot, I'm fairly certain that I had, or perhaps have, mild to moderate Asperger's syndrome. Especially in terms of my behavior as a child. So, there you go. Yeah, I am autistic. Come on, libertarians are all autistic. None of us are not. It's required. You need to be officially diagnosed to officially join the party. Because I haven't been officially diagnosed, I'm not an LP member. That's why. It has nothing to do with the weird pandering and influx of used car salesmen or anything.
Did the Krogan evolve, or did some of their scientists develop a treatment?
Krogan scientists? Never met Krogan scientist worthy of term. No. Natural evolution. Krogan physiology, incredibly durable. Organ redundancy, backup systems, cellular regeneration. Genophage like any other natural hazard. Krogan evolved past it.
The genophage was a terrible mistake. It nearly destroyed the Krogan and their culture. Now they have a chance to recover.
Naive viewpoint. Krogan too dangerous to allow unchecked birth rate. Look at Krogan rebellions. Personally led a science team. Geneticists, chemists, sociologists, mathematicians created new version of genophage, released it onto Charka, other Krogan-centric areas, restabilized Krogan population.
Super eugenicist there. This is a bit of a ethical problem that we'll talk about as we go forward. Because, again, we can't go even an episode without talking about the genophage. Max says, Vince, you need to play Doki Doki Literature Club, psychological horror. I have seen it. I've watched a couple of streamers play it. I did really enjoy it. It was fun. I don't know if it would fit this kind of streaming much at all. I don't know if there's much interesting philosophy to talk about until that end. You know what I'm talking about. But it was a lot of fun. I kind of do want to play it for the sake of the experience with just Monica. Just Monica. WizKid says no wonder they can't get their shit together. You do know. So WizKid, if you're talking about the LP, the Libertarian Party, you know that the chair of the Libertarian Party is literally a used car salesman, right? It's Nicholas Sarwark. He's constantly made fun of by basically everybody who is serious about libertarianism. Not him, obviously. Him and his caucus basically have him in the position because, quote, he can run a meeting. Max says, I'm about to play it right now and get the good ending. I mean, isn't the good ending only possible if you basically rewrite half the game files? If I remember correctly. There's a lot of hacking involved, if I recall. Let's see about what this weird retrovirus that our innocent little cinnamon roll scientist came up with does.
How did your genophage modification work?
Krogan evolution attached garbage genetic code to genophage attack sites. Modification created other areas for garbage code to connect. Left sites clean, capable, running smoothly.
How did you distribute the modified genophage?
Covert drops, hospitals, clan centers, water supplies. Very difficult. Few Solarians on Tuchanka. Team got caught a few times. Had to fight free. Messy. Better when things went as planned.
WizKid says, at this point, I'm honestly not surprised about Nick Sarwark. Bring back the Pauls, man. Ron more so. And Paul has his moments, but he also has his not moments, I would think. Oh, yeah, and you can't just do the save editing thing for Doki Doki Literature Club. I didn't realize that a game jump scared you if you tried to cheat it. That's fun.
You never considered other options?
Hundreds. Thousands. Modified genophage offered best outcome. Stabilized population, avoided publicity that could incite Krogan anger, averted potential genocide, or devastating war. Best solution for whole galaxy. Krogan included.
Act utilitarianism. Hooray. This is the problem with consequentialism, is you get doing evil things for a good outcome here. And I mean, that's really the short version of it. This is the big problem with this kind of ethical judgments. My favorite thought experiment is if you're an act utilitarian and your goal is to maximize happiness for the greatest number, what that means is that you can have that you are morally obligated to record the horrific torture of someone and post it online if it will make sufficiently many people have a slight chuckle. Because their slight increase in happiness will outweigh the suffering caused to the one person. That's heinous. That is a reductio ad absurdum, and that shows act utilitarianism to be evil. Right, so, and WizKid, look at this man justifying genocide. Yeah, kinda, especially based on what you find out about the genophage. Like, it's marketed as just an infertility virus, but it's not. It's a stillbirth virus. It causes stillbirth. That's genocide. Max says, none of the streamers I've watched go for Yuri in the second phase, and I consider it the scariest route. Ooh. I like Yuri. Yuri is is she the yandere? Is that how it works? I'm a little rusty on my weeabooishness. I'm not that big in anime tropes and things. But she's fun. if I recall. Again, it's been a while, but Monica's still best Doki, though. I'm going to assume I know what that means.
The genophage was a mistake bordering on a war crime. Recreating it is unforgivable.
Don't want me on team? Don't bring me. Can stay here, work on collector research. But no apologies. Did what was right. Hope you do the same if necessary. Should get back to work. Talk more later. Next time, tissue synthesis has to compile. Good for free time.
I did not mean to be that harsh with him, but let's be honest, he kind of deserves it. That was he needs to learn that this was a mistake. Okay, Max says Yuri is Yandere, I think. Okay, good to know. What is Yandere? It's the standoffish, or it's the aloof. And yes, those are different. I can't remember. I don't know. There's the whatever Bastila is in KOTOR, which is by far the best example of whichever anime trope that is.
Commander, what can I do for you?
Yandere is Psycho loves you. It says, okay.
Do you have a minute, Miranda?
There's a lot to do, Shepard. Maybe another time.
WizKid, I'm not reading that. Natsuke is Tsundere. Acts standoffish.
Of course,
okay.
Commander.
Okay, let's see what...
I haven't had a meal that good in a long time.
I didn't think Rupert had it in him.
Let's see what Garrus is up to.
Shepard, need me for something?
Have you got a minute?
Can it wait for a bit? I'm in the middle of some calibrations.
Talk to you later, Garrus.
I'll be here if you need me.
Okay, so, Max, you're a Garrus-stan. Use, I think, an anime term. You're all about that Garrus romance. How can you justify the such a small amount he interacts with you in Mass Effect 2 and how much, by comparison, he needs to calibrate? Come on, that doesn't seem like the best romance option to me. I don't know. Okay, listen. First of all, Max, if somebody gets it for me, I'll think about it. Second of all, I will probably do it on a weird off day, not as one of my main streams, and it'll be sort of a spare time thing. Because I'm not dedicating enough time. I'm not dedicating real philosophy hours to Doki Doki Literature Club. I don't think I can take it seriously enough. I'm sorry. Max says, I think they gave him less because you knew him in the first game. Same with Tally. That does make sense, I guess. That makes sense, I guess. I don't know. I've romanced Tally, and I remember there being more than when I've romanced Garrus. More content, but maybe not. Maybe I'm just misremembering. It's possible.
Hey, what do you think of Miranda and Jacob? Jacob doesn't know who he is, but that's not my problem. Miranda's a Cerberus bitch. Knew that before she opened her mouth.
Okay. I like that. Jacob doesn't know who he is, but that's it. That's not my problem. That's cool. I think that's right. I think Jacob is still, like, at this point trying to kind of find himself, and his loyalty mission's really a lot about that. It has to do with family stuff.
What do you think of our mission? I don't care. I'm out to survive it, then cut loose.
Well, okay then.
I've picked up a lot of resources. Can you use them to help against the collectors? I ran across the schematics for making L5X implants. Still got them in my head. You want to know what I need? Not usually my thing, but I've learned how to get things done on my own.
Okay then. Oh, and yeah, okay. This is the other one where it's an upgrade for her, not for the squad, but okay, that's fine. That's still good. Still good. WizKid says, I agree about Tally and Garrus. They're more friends in a foxhole than good picks as lovers. Also, Tally best girl. I assume you mean Tally just best girl on the crew, just in general, not as potential waifu material. Why is this an anime stream? Max, this is your fault. This is your fault. Anyway, Max says, I like Jack a lot, favorite human. Like Garrus says, I like Garrus' romance because they were friends first. They grew to like each other as Shepard helped him out. I get that. I still see them as bros, more so than lovers. But I can see where you're coming from, though. I can see where Garrus fans are coming from for it. But it's just not my favorite style for Shepard. Jesus, look at that camera angle. What in the world? This is worse than Miranda.
Tell me about you, Jack.
I'm still finding out about me. Thanks for letting me look at these files.
Hey. Oh, okay. WizKid was saying I was talking about Garrus X Shepard. Tali is absolute waifu. You know that. Okay. I can see why you can make a similar argument for Tali, though. So there's more of a camaraderie there than love interest, I guess. You can make a similar argument, I think. Max says there's a line he says in Mass Effect 1 for Paragon Shep. I've never seen anyone like you or something. It is cute. That's true. And yeah, I remember that line somewhere. Something like that. Something really close to that. Yeah, it's cute. I get it. I get their relationship. I do think, though, for as spiky as he is, physically, Garrus is a little bit of a softie for somebody like Shepard. Kaidan challenges her, and if I'm looking for the soft squishy, I would think Liara, really, more so. But those two, Liara and Kaidan are probably my favorite two romance options. Tali's probably third. Ashley's decent, maybe not, but good. Let's see what she's up to. This is gonna come up.
If they're helping you, that's good enough for me.
Don't be my buddy. You need me to kill for you, I need you for these files. Let's leave it there. Your friends at Cerberus are into some nasty things. I'm gonna find something I can use. I just know it.
Well, okay.
What if the answers aren't what you expect?
I'm not looking for answers. I'm looking for names, dates, places.
Okay.
What happens when you find what you're looking for?
I go hunting. Anyone who's screwed with me pays. Their associates pay. Their friends pay. The galaxy's gonna be a lot emptier when I'm done.
I mean, it's Cerberus, so I can, in fact, let you do that. They are all terrorists, except for us, except for specifically the people on the ship. WizKid says, with Tali, it strikes me as almost like that anime trope of your cousin falling for you or something. Not how I wanted to think of that, but okay. Or the girl next door. That's better. She's nice and sweet and girly, but also pretty timid. Also, Miranda's fire. Okay, yeah, Miranda's pretty good. Miranda's good. Miranda is there. As far as romance go, they kind of dropped her romance arc in 3 in exchange for her like story thing with her sister. But yeah. Oh yeah, another cycle of revenge. It's been really a couple of weeks for that, hasn't it? Yeah, I'm gonna let you do it.
What's your history with Cerberus?
They raised me in a research facility. I escaped when I was a kid. Been on the run ever since. And they've been chasing me ever since. But soon, I'm gonna chase them.
You think about this a lot, don't you?
I go to sleep with this. I wake up with it. Everyone I kill, I pretend it's the ones that did this to me.
I really like her loyalty mission because it has so much to do with this, and they handle it really well. And it does a really good job of deconstructing that cycle of revenge. I'll hold off talking about it until then, so in a few weeks probably. But it's really, really good. It's really well done.
You don't have to live in this pit, you know.
It's dark, quiet, and hard to find. That spells safety to me.
WizKid, it is kind of
this
the
ship
theme.
is a powerhouse. You could go pirate, live like a queen. I could help.
We have to stop the collectors. I don't have time for piracy.
When this is done, we'll either be dead or out here in space with this ship. Think about it. Lots of creds. Freedom to go wherever you want. And all the mayhem and fighting I could want.
Nah, you're just gonna go become a teacher. Max says, by the way, there are lines in the code for femship Tali romance. Really? Also, something weird is how there's no FemChep in Jack, because she mentioned she was with a girl and a guy before. Maybe no space. Get it? Yes, space. Yeah, I did always kind of think that was weird. I kind of assumed that Jack was, if not bi, at least kind of swingy. How better to put that? I would have thought at least you can kind of hook up with Jack as FemChep, even if you couldn't do the long-term relationship thing, because those are two very different paths in ME2 for MaleChep. Which is also a cool thing. Like, if you hook up with Jack, you can totally do it, but then you can't pursue a relationship. But if you say no to the hookup, then you can pursue a relationship. It's neat. It speaks to her. She's testing you, and if you bang her, you failed the test, but you got. But I guess you had some fun, so, you know, we'll bang, okay, kind of thing. WizKid says, I wonder how a character like Mal would handle a personality like Jack's. And she's bi as Frick. Well, I mean, she says as much. I actually don't know if she's bi so much as just, like, hypersexual. Like, as a defense mechanism, hypersexual, that kind of thing. I don't know if, like, I genuinely don't know if she's genuinely attracted to women, or if it's just she'll do stuff. As far as somebody like Mal, like from Firefly, I take it you mean. It's weird because she's almost like a combination, like halfway between Jane and Sapphire. Is it Sapphire? His wife's name? Something like that. I need to watch Firefly again. I guess it's been like 2 years. But yeah, halfway between there. She's got the hypersexualized and manipulative aspect, but she's also the psychotic, like super badass. So kind of Jane-ish. So he would probably have to learn to trust her if he could, and if she was trustworthy, he would keep her around. But it could be a problem. There could be problems. WizKid says, oh yeah, given her past trauma, I could see it being a defense mechanism. I mean, it's explicitly a defense mechanism for MaleChep, right? with MaleChep, I mean. Because like I said, if MaleChep bangs her as a one-night stand with her, she just kind of blows him off in terms of a relationship. So yeah, same thing. Max says, pour one out for Firefly. You have like 20 seasons for Supernatural, but nope, no Firefly. Cheers. I'm not going to pour one out because I'm in my office. I can't remember, WizKid says, but you're absolutely right. Jane would like her, though. Yeah, I agree. I don't know. I have not seen enough of Supernatural to hate it, so I can't say. I can't say for sure. I know there are there's issues with its speculative theology and angelology, though, so there's at least that bothers me. That bothers me like paleontologists watching Jurassic Park with dinosaurs with no feathers kind of bothers me. Yeah, I don't know. Fox is not a good platform for good sci-fi. Then again, no, Sci-Fi Channel barely is even anymore. Streaming services could do something with it, but at this point, a reboot could work, but a continuation. Max says the first season of Supernatural is the best, and it's downhill from there. I do like the mystery aspects when it's more mystery kind of trying to discover the secrets and stuff. So just two bros getting spooked. I might enjoy that if I watch the first season. Maybe I might give it a shot. WizKid says, I mean, I don't hate Supernatural, but I dislike its popularity intensely. I'll give you that. I can get behind that. It's if nothing else, it's overloved, something like that.
What is it about killing that fascinates you so much?
I figure every time someone dies and it's not me, my chances of survival go up.
That's real dumb, Jack. That's real dumb. That's the opposite of true. But okay.
I should go.
Yep.
Okay, see ya. Yep. All right. Yeah, that's like gambler's fallacy applied to murder, which is not a good thing to apply it to, like, really, at all. WizKid says, also, aside from the movie, the comics are okay, I guess. Serenity is amazing, though. Yeah, Serenity is really good. Darn it, my fish! Why did my fish die? Did I forget to feed him to... You have to feed them after every mission? Darn it. New fish. I'll do it between streams. I don't need to do it right now. My hamster's still alive, right? Damn. Okay, you're good. Good. Let's see. Messages. Nope. Alright, let's go get the Krogan. I haven't read the comics. I've only read synopses. So the one about Book's backstory, I'd like to read at some point. No, it's not time to reload. I'm not starting the mission over. I will get more fish. It's not like the hamster died. Like I said, though, I'll do it off stream. Yeah, I forgot because it was between streams. I didn't do it right after the mission last time, and apparently I didn't do it this time. So I didn't do it before this mission. All right, let's go recruit the Krogan. Hour 15. We have plenty of time. We might even have time for Horizon, but probably not. This is a longish mission. It's not that long, so maybe. All right, it's a garbage planet. Yay, let's go. There's mercenaries galore. Krogan mercenaries. We lots of people with armor. So we need fire. We should definitely have Morden. And maybe Garrus. Or Jacob. Yeah, let's go with Jacob and Morden. Wait a minute. Who has appearance? No. Let's go with Jacob and Morden. That'll do. Alright. Anything? Oh, yeah, stuff. Incendiary ammo. We need that for this mission. And... yeah, we need it for this mission. Morden. Nothing yet. And Shepard, let's go with Throwfield. Gonna need that eventually. Do it. Keep the Blackstorm. Oh, not the Carnifex. Jeez. Thanks. Let's go with the Plasma Shotgun. Cool. Locust and Phalanx. Good.
Dossier doesn't say if Okir is on this planet by choice. Assume hostiles.
There is only one measure of success. Kill or be killed.
Can't.
Stay.
Yeah, let's keep that. And armor. Cool. You can always get Kelly Chambers to feed your fish for you, but you may have to exchange sexual favors, I think. So, maybe not. I don't actually remember how that's supposed to work. Hey, look. Bunch of mercs.
Have a nice trip.
Okay. Just throw, Jacob. We're in close enough proximity for a shotgun.
Change weapons.
Hey, Merc.
Shit. won't stop bleeding. I'm gonna... You son of a bitch.
He's not hurt that bad.
He doesn't need to know that.
I knew it wasn't berserkers. Not at range. You're mercs or Alliance. I'm not telling you anything.
This kid says she's the redhead, yeah? Fine by me, winky face. Great. Technically she's a ginger. A little bit different than a redhead. Shepard's a redhead. That aside, though, okay, but Caden, man. Caden. Eyes on the prize.
I've got a nice application of metagel ready to go. But if you'd rather I just keep walking.
Son of a bitch. I don't know anything. I just shoot the overflow from the labs. The old Krogan up there, he's really been cleaning house lately. Jador hired him to make her an army, but the Krogan he creates are insane. So we use them for live ammo training. It's all crap. I don't get paid enough to goddamn bleed out.
Outpost 4, Jador wants us to move. We need coordinates on that Krogan pack.
Jeez. WizKid. Oh, even better. Gingers are fantastic. Good for you. Okay. Gingers are a little crazy in the ones I know. Not all in a bad way, but they tend to be psychological outliers, let's say. I'm yeah, whatever. Anyway, teach their own, I suppose.
I want your friends gone. Understand?
Patrol, the last group dispersed. Lost sight 5 minutes ago.
Dispersed? Jador will be pissed. She wanted a show.
You asked for a report, you got it. Dispersed.
Understood. Returning to the labs.
There, you see? I'm helping.
Is Jador's lab heavily guarded?
There are big guns to keep ships away. We're not outfitted to fight goddamn commandos.
Okay.
Have you seen O'Keer? Does he know about all this?
We can't go in the labs, but everyone sees what happens when the Krogan come out. I've shot hundreds. They're crazy, mindless. Anyone up there, they know what's going on.
Yeah, WizKid, and I know you have issues. Just, work on it a little. Less avoid red flags instead of running towards them. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm really saying.
What is Jador planning to do with all these Krogan?
Replace us, probably. I sure wouldn't want to see an army of them coming at me. Only she can't control them. They aren't supposed to be crazy, but they're Krogan. How smart are they to start?
If you start limping now, you might find a shady spot before you bleed out.
Shit. Oh, shit. Oh.
Was scaring him like that necessary?
Maybe not. Felt good, though. Come on. Our warlord is somewhere in Jador's...
That was rude.
Failure to perform means liquidation, legal and otherwise.
Hostiles, watch it.
Oh, they're gone. Okay, they're gone. Do I love throw fields?
Come on over.
Is that it? Wow, that went quick.
Taking cover.
It's... God, that's awesome. Apparently I don't need guns. WizKid says, but in all seriousness, you're right. I've gotten better, though. Dave and Vicky from Apostolic. Godsend in that regard. Yeah, good to hear. I'm glad things are improving. Jeez.
Target down.
That is a cool shotgun. I dig it.
Have a nice trip.
That's terrifying. We stretched it.
Should burn through any armor.
Alright, we're fine.
The Krogans are your example and your warning. As ferocious as they are, failure or expendable.
See you next fall. Yeah, very much so. There we go. Is that it? I think that's it. Let's see what this guy's up to.
You are different. New. You don't smell like this world. 7 night cycles, and I have felt only the need to kill. But you... something makes me speak.
7 night cycles. Days.
So here we get into some of the disturbing parts and some of the probably unethical parts of genetic engineering and cloning and treating sapient beings as commodities. Also, it's weird to me that he can smell you through his presumably airtight. But whatever.
They must breed them full size, ready to kill. Not much improvement over regular mercs if they need training.
Bred to kill. No. I kill because my blood and bone tell me to. But it's not why I was flushed from Glass Mother. Survival is what I hear in my head. Against the enemy that threatens all my kind. But I failed, even before waking. That is what the voice in the water said. That is why I wait here.
Okay, I always have a little bit of trouble parsing this, but I'm pretty sure he knows what I know what he means. So we'll listen through what he has to say, and then I'll see if I can interpret.
Okir's voice? Did he speak to you while you were in your tank?
I heard the voice, not like now, with ears. Inside. I called it Father. It like that. But it was disappointed. I'm not what it needs me to be.
A breeding program? Trying to escape genophage effects?
Escape. Escape was never whispered. Survive, resist, ignore.
I destroyed Saren's cure. How does Okir expect these Krogan to ignore the genophage if not by curing it?
Uncertain. Likely irrelevant. Appears Okir has had no success.
How did you disappoint the voice?
I don't know. It was decided before I left Tank Mother. I was not perfect.
If Mercenary was correct, Krogan prone to mental instability.
I don't know of that, but I'm not perfect.
How can you speak if you're only a week old?
There was a scratching sound in my head, and it became the voice. It taught things I would need. Walking, talking, hitting, shooting. Then the voice said I was not perfect, and the teaching stopped. And now I am here.
Interesting. Raised, then rejected. Control group? Failed test?
I don't know, but I am not perfect.
You're supposed to be part of a mercenary army. Do you remember Jador?
I know that name. It causes anger, but also laughter. It is not a name that will be sung when we march. I don't know what that means, but I have heard it many times.
Okay, so here's what I'm gathering. Jador contracted with Warlord Okir to breed her an army of Krogan. He used her resources, did not do so. He's doing something else. He's trying to make it perfect Krogan. Unfortunately, and here comes the unethical part, he is throwing away the imperfect ones. This is where genetic engineering, cloning, all of that kind of stuff gets ethically even more dicey than it already is. Because I've already kind of talked about the natural law implications of separating out reproduction from family. Right? So that's its own problem. But this is where children become seen as some kind of a commodity, right? As a project. And this is very similar to Miranda. Right? We find out about we actually already kind of talked about her father, who saw her as a legacy, not as a daughter, not as a person. In this case, Okir is not looking for a son. He's not even looking for an army. He's looking for perfection, and he's throwing away the completely sapient beings that he's interacted with who are not up to his standards. And Whiskey says designer babies are wrong. This is one of the major reasons for that. In large part because the imperfect designer babies, like the Krogan here are usually thrown away, discarded, and in general killed. At least in this case, they're not killed outright. They're just kind of set loose. Then they're killed. They're set loose to die, but they're still set loose. So it's a slight improvement over the real world, which is disturbing. That this dystopian element is slightly better than the real world equivalent. That's a little weird and wrong, but whatever. But yeah, it is. There's the temptation to treat custom-built infants as a product instead of as a person, right? And so to reject that sort of product, to reject the person because you're thinking of him or her like a product, is really the natural result, because you're wanting perfection. And so if the perfection falls short, then you're going to not want the thing anymore. By thing here, unfortunately, I mean person. This is contrasted with a naturally born child, where if you are disappointed in a fault in a naturally born child, right? So if your child has like a birth defect or something like that, the reason that you are upset about that is out of a desire for what is best for the child. Excuse me. Excuse me again. You're, in that case, lamenting the hardships that your child will have to face, rather than lamenting, receiving an imperfect product, like in a designer baby kind of case like this. And this actually kind of relates back to the discussion we had privately on Facebook about autism. And I think that this kind of a distinction is missed by a lot of the critics of organizations like Autism Speaks, that speak to this very kind of disappointment. Say, well, look, my kids are going to have a very hard life, and it's going to be very difficult for me to make their life good. I think that is maybe misspoken and not said very well and very clearly in a lot of cases, but I think that is the kind of disappointment that disappointment isn't even the right word, but maybe the kind of mourning, the kind of trauma even, that parents of disabled children would have to deal with, because obviously parents want what's best for their kids, right? Simply by nature. And if your child has some kind of a disability, that's going to be difficult, because it's not that you don't want a disabled child, it's that you don't want your child to be disabled. I think that's the key difference. Whereas in this case, Okeer doesn't want an imperfect Krogan, and then for a designer baby case, parents don't want an imperfect child. It's the difference between not wanting and wanting what's best, and that means that it's two different motivations for wanting something to be different, and that makes all the difference in the world, I think. So Whiskey says, yep, always. It's also a reason why some people are against surrogacy as well. Surrogacy, my bigger problem is the commodification of the surrogate parents, as well as the natural law problems with the separation of childbearing from family and from marriage and from the parents themselves, right? The separation between the acts. That's an issue, right? That's a problem that leads to all sorts of other problems. Whiskey says, yeah, it is. I assume you mean talking about the communication problems about organizations like Autism Speaks and things like that. I get the disappointment and the temptation to try and find a cure, but I think it's unjustifiable, because you should love the child you have despite how hard they can be. Because I assume you're continuing, but I'll respond to this at first, because I think that's exactly kind of what I'm talking about, right? Loving your child involves wanting what's best for them, and if it were possible, that would involve curing any disabilities they might have, or at least helping them to deal with any disabilities they might have in the best way possible. And the inability to do so is a kind of trauma for everybody involved, everybody who cares for them. So it's not just that So wanting someone to be different is not necessarily synonymous with not loving them. You can love someone, and because you love them, want them to be different. And this is what I think. Honestly, this is a large problem with the sort of cultural left, more so than the political left, but the sort of the broadly, I don't even know if the left, but the broadly modernism, really, because it conflates, because modern philosophy dispensed with essentialism, they take accidents to be essential, accidental characteristics to be essential. I talked about this before, especially on a Red Dead stream a while ago when I was talking about transgender issues, and I think the biggest problem is that when someone says, I want this accidental property that you have to be different, they take it to mean that I have an objection or a rejection of your essence. And that's not what's meant. I think on a classical essentialist understanding, it's relatively clear that that's not what's meant, but it's easily misinterpreted. WizKid says it reminds me a lot of the mutants in X-Men. They can't control what they're born with, but they can and should embrace who they are. Not the point of supremacy like Magneto, but they should, I assume something along, they should embrace who they are as unique and as different. That said, in X3 Last Stand, I don't think Rogue was wrong to want a cure, to want the cure. I don't even think Angel was wrong to want the cure. I don't think Beast was wrong in First Class. Hank McCoy was wrong in First Class to want something like a cure. Okay? Because it's not just a matter of rejecting something about you. It's about wanting a better life, right? And Rogue, yes, Rogue is incredibly powerful in the X-Men, especially in the comics and the cartoons, more so than in the movies. But especially in the movies, damn, her life is bad. Her life is made simply worse on account of her powers. She can't have physical contact with anyone under basically any circumstances, or they'll die. Right? If they're a mutant, they'll lose their powers and then die. That's really... I would want a cure too. If I were Rogue, I completely understand her wanting a cure. I get it, and I have no objection to that, because honestly, that seems like a perfectly reasonable choice to me. The problem is if you say that you have to accept every part of yourself, as including the accidental properties like patient, then you have to say that Rogue was wrong for wanting to seek a cure. Like Storm, right? Storm kind of says this, that like they can't cure us, we're perfect. Something like that. WizKid continues, I get what you mean when it comes to wanting them to be different, not meaning you don't love them, but I still think it's wrong to want to take away, gonna fill in the blank here, what it means to be that person or something like that, I'm guessing. Again, I think it comes down to what is accidental versus what is essential. And there is a way of rejecting the whole person because of a fault, and we see it right here, right, with our Krogan friend. Because our Krogan friend down over here is imperfect, and so Okeer, practically speaking his parent, rejected him because he's imperfect. It's very different from wanting, him in particular to be perfect. That's different, and that's more what I'm talking about.
Can you show me the laboratory? I need to speak with Okeer.
The Glass Mother. She is up, past the broken parts, behind many of you fleshy things. I will show you.
Yeah, feel free to continue. I'm happy to continue the conversation as we move. Because this is great. I really think that there is an issue worth discussing here.
Glad he's on our side for now.
I think it's mostly a miscommunication or a talking past each other rather than a genuine disagreement for the most part, really.
You fleshy things are slow when big things are in your way.
Yes, we are not well, Krogan. So WizKid continues, take away what I see as truly a part of their essence. Unlike being gay or transgender, which I see as more aberrant. I don't know why autism is different for me, but it is. It does have a. I think you're right. And I mean, when we were having this conversation elsewhere, I think I was exaggerating for the point of making the argument. But I do think that it does have a more significant impact. But at the same time, if it is a neurological fault, I think in a lot of cases, at least for some autism spectrum disorders, it can be a genuine fault. And even like my very high functioning mild to moderate Asperger's that I probably had as a child, it was a fault, right? It caused genuine problems. It caused things like obsessive compulsive activity. Like, funny one. For example, if I accidentally, like right now, I'm leaning on my desk as I lean back in the chair, and I'm pressing against the meaty part of my palm with the corner of my desk. Right now, my hand hurts slightly. When I was little, before I learned to reject this kind of activity and before I learned to cope with it, I would have been compelled. I would have basically had to do the same thing to my other hand until both of my hands hurt equally. And if I accidentally did too much to my other hand, I'd have to do it again to this hand until it gets worse. It's worse and worse and worse. I have, when I was a kid, I actually relatively severely injured myself with this on more than one occasion. Because if I got like a paper cut, I had to scratch and scratch and scratch and scratch until my other hand hurt the same way or something like that. And I wound up literally injuring myself. Purely on account of these kinds of weird little tics that I picked up. Also, my interests wildly over-specialized, and I had genuine trouble interacting with peers my age, who had broader, more, I guess, say, normal interests. WizKid says it can be hard to get it all across in so few characters. IRL, this is much better. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's complicated. Some autism can be very beneficial. Other forms of autism are almost completely detrimental. True, OCD is absolutely awful. People use it as a buzzword, and that needs to cease. Yeah, I tend to agree. I may still have symptoms. I'm not actually sure. It might be that. I haven't talked to a shrink about this. I maybe should, but I still bite my nails. I've been trying to quit for 20 years, and it may have something to do with OCD. Because it's not a bored thing. It's not a boredom thing. It's not a cleanliness thing so much. It's a matter of when I notice a fault in my nail, I have to fix it. And the best solution I've come up with is not like wearing gloves or whatever to distract me from it or whatever like that. The best solution I've had is to carry a file and scissors to fix my nails. The problem there is I will file them down to stubs basically eventually, and that's just as bad. So that's not as bad because then my nasty little fingers aren't going in my mouth, especially when there's a pandemic. But I probably should talk to somebody about it, but I don't want to afford a shrink. Maybe I can find somebody. WizKid says, be careful around your children because severely OCD parents can and will make their children even more OCD. Oh yeah, I've as far as I can tell, that the nail biting thing is the only real problem I have with it. Oh, good. Well, thanks, Erica. That is honestly that is a suggestion. I mean, maybe you can do it. You're decent at nails. You're really good at your own nails. I'm assuming you'd be decent at mine. That might be something worth doing. Erica says, what I'm hearing is you need to get a professional manicure every week to make sure your nails are perfect. Lol. Less lol, maybe. I'd think about it. I wouldn't immediately say no. It's a possibility. It's a coping strategy, maybe. I'll let you finish.
You could have run or tried to fight your way back to the labs. Why stay here?
I am waiting. The voice told me, if they come, I fight. But I will not run, and I will not follow. I am not perfect, but I have purpose. I must wait until called, released.
So, Erica says, you literally don't let me do your nails properly. And that is because whenever you try and do my nails, you try and press my cuticles up, and it hurts intensely. I don't need to aim. I just need to spray. Anyway, are there more here? Erica says, I don't have the training for that. I'd love to get manicures with you. Okay.
Get over here!
Costs a lot of money, though, to actually get it professionally done. I had you cut my hair because I was too cheap to actually get a haircut. Also, because I was going insane because of my hair. But, whoops, hello.
Should do the trick.
Can't hide from me.
Well, the person who would be doing your nails would be trimming them too, so, and we don't have the money for it anyway. Yeah. Whee! Bye-bye. Yeah, see, I don't like that. That's extremely painful, and that is, I will also note, that is not the part of my nails that I've ever chewed. Like, I know a lot of people, like, chew on their cuticles, that kind of thing, and that's very, very bad. It's incredibly unhealthy, it's dangerous, it hurts. You can severely injure yourself, yada, 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 but I've never had that problem, and I don't want to start.
Wrong target.
Need ammo. Not good. That's actually a difficult fight. Okay.
Here, enjoy.
I've got him.
There we go. There we go. Okay, is that it? So close to out of ammo from all that. Alright, so I'm gonna give it a second. Max says, I know you can pay for a family doctor too, but here in Canada there's able to diagnose some minor mental things. Also here, there are programs to give you better access to therapy. WizKid says, that sounds nice. I hope in my professional career I get to try and find ways to get therapy available to more people who really need it. Erica says, the last time I got a manicure was for a wedding, and the only other time before that was from a best friend's wedding and then my 8th grade prom. It feels great afterwards, though. Yeah. I'd think about it. I'd put some real thought into it, and maybe. Because like I said, I have a genuine problem. I acknowledge this. I'm pretty sure that's part of what the issue is. It's a perfectionism thing. So, I don't know. Maybe it'd help. Oh yeah, middle school dance or whatever. Yeah, I had an 8th grade dance of some sort. Something. It was awkward. Because, you know, I was in middle school and I was awkward. As one does. I remember I did go to my act. I went by myself, as one does when one is weird. And I wore an all-white tuxedo with tails, a top hat, and a cane. I was very cool, but most other people didn't seem to think so.
Broken on our 6. Copy, goddammit. Where's Tador and her personal guard?
Gunfire.
Oh, what's this?
Damage. Nice. Don't need that, but okay. Ourselves. Eric says, but I have a picture of my 8th grade dance, so I know I went to that one. Well, it's a good way to know. Yeah, the picture of me with the top hat and cane is on is somewhere in my parents' house. Seen it recently, so I know they still have it. WizKid, I went to my prom my senior year. I was supremely meh.
Headed
Get
for
it.
combat.
Whee! Goodbye.
Grab a wall, soldier.
Whee!
Take out.
Gravity's one mean mother, huh?
Oh.
Should burn nicely.
There we go. All right. WizKid, are you talking about needing my tuxedo? It doesn't fit me anymore, unfortunately. I was a twig in high school. I was absurdly, almost gaunt thin. Through a lot of college, too. I was pretty, like, unhealthily thin. I weighed, like... I'm 6'1". I have been since basically high school started. I think I was, like, 140 when I graduated. Which is not good. It's not really good.
Get out of there.
Pull everybody.
Have a nice trip.
Darn it.
Have a nice trip.
The new episode of Twice Bitten, is that on YouTube? Oh, is that the live play of Curse of Strahd with the Reddit? I assume. WizKid says I became a tonk after college started, both because it's college and because I started eating real person food. Fair enough. Erica says, dude, I'm so excited, but I have to wait till tomorrow for the. I might actually catch up with that at some point. I'd like to. But then she says, we became chonk after college because we LARPed. Very true. You can probably find videos of me somewhere. I won't expand as to where. Of me being something of a badass. LARP. Such things exist. Do not know where, and I will not share where. Yeah, we actually... worked out very regularly with LARPing. Since then, we have not done that so much, and hence I've put on probably 50 pounds since I graduated college. I don't know if it's quite that, but it's more than I'd like.
Here, enjoy. One down.
Come on over.
Okay.
Berserkers are going down, but the outsider commandos are still incoming.
Erica says, then I got fatter because I had 2 kids and drank way too much chalky milk. The 2 kids thing, listen, if you have a bunch of kids and don't gain weight, you're way more dedicated than a parent should be. Just to weight loss. I'm just saying, listen, we ain't got no time for not getting fat. It's a lot of work that mostly goes into our kids. Whoops, that's not good.
Next.
I just love how basically invincible Sentinel class is. This is delightful. Yeah. Basically, if my shields ever go down, they explode, and then I can immediately bring them all the way back up. And with the lockdown, Erica says, I basically don't have the couch anymore. Don't leave the couch anymore. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. We used to go to Disney all the time. Have 25,000 step days. Yeah, that's also very true, and that was very helpful in terms of health in general.
Making contact.
How did I do that? Uh-oh. I say invincible, but then this happens, so there we go. Get down, you idiot.
She'll lose all our toys if we don't get back up.
WizKid says, chalky milk does tend to do that. Oof. I get most of my exercise from walking around my store when I work, so I feel not getting out and about much. Erica says, or, going to parks, Tarpon Springs, just generally walking around, cool places. Yeah, I miss that. But trying to work out, but it's like, no one's forcing me, so I don't. I get that. I would if, okay, you would if I did it with you. Yeah, I should as well. Yeah, maybe. No, don't actually do that. I don't know. I have weird workout habits because I did Kung Fu for years and years and years, and so I developed strange workout habits. Basically, I don't work out to work out, and I never have, and I can't get into doing that. Like, I can't work out just purely for health. Typically, I will only really exercise if I'm doing something that has an end in itself, has its own goal. Like, I can't really I have trouble bringing myself to work out just for the sake of working out. It bores me to tears, and it feels contrary to my being for some reason. I just... There we go. But yeah. I don't know. And I have really idiosyncratic workout habits as well. Like, when I actually do exercise, it's based on what I was used to do. But I don't know. Maybe that's all an excuse as well for just not liking routines. Which is another thing I don't like. It's weird. Darn it. To get my license too, walk around interesting places. That too, I'm neurotic to do it myself. Yeah, I get that. It's a big reason. WizKid says it's a big reason I want to get into HEMA for the physical activity. Yeah, I can get that too. Like I said, we were both very fit when we LARPed, and a lot of that was was with a lot of people who do their stuff. Martial artists, both Eastern and Western. Me being one of them, obviously. I had a good deal of martial arts experience at that point, so I kind of knew what I was doing in terms of both fitness and in terms of actual fighting. So, and I employed real techniques and whatnot too. So.
Have a nice trip. Get over here!
Yeah, I don't like routine, but I am very temperamentally conservative in other ways. There really is in other ways. I don't know. That's why I'm very moderate in openness in terms of Big Five. I don't like routines, but I don't like surprises either.
Target down.
I don't like change. Which doesn't make any sense, but I don't know how else to describe it. Oof.
Get over here! Oh!
Oof. I'm gonna have to catch up with this chat a little bit because this is obviously difficult. And apparently, Shepard is has got some serious tinnitus at the moment. What is that? Oh, it's just a background bit. Okay. Thinking that might have been an item or something to pick up that I literally have never gotten before, but no, it's just background. Okay, cool. Now that there's a bit of a lull, I'm gonna hide behind a wall and catch up on chat. CJ, Erica says, yeah, because of our, at our LARPing peak, we had training days Tuesday, Thursday, and the actual game lasted, what, like 6+ hours, on both Friday and Saturday. Yeah, definitely. It was a heck of a lot of stuff to actually do. WizKid says the closest I have, to real fighting experience, beside bullying one of my friends in school, don't do that, was this one time at Renfest, sword fought, this kid with 2 katanas with my sword and shield. Yeah, it sounds like you would have an advantage. Sword and shield does have an advantage versus dual wielding, typically. Especially unarmored. Erica pointed out as well. They were pretty small, though. Had to get in really close, and he had more reach than I did. Yeah, that's fair. I typically, when I LARPed with actual foam weapons and not plastic lightsabers, my typical loadout was a sword and dagger, so guard dagger. My sword was either I had a saber basket hilt, and then later I basically had a straight sword with a minimal guard, which I wielded either typically like a Jian Chinese straight sword. Erica says that was sword and shield she's talking about was my main weapon. And one of the LARPs, shield and sword, somebody had a halberd. I just sort of ran my shield down the staff and hit them a bunch. Yeah, that halberd was really fun. I had my offhand dagger, right? Which, here we go, imitation. I would lock into the fork of the halberd. I would catch, shift to the side, and then move in and stab repeatedly. I like having the camera. I can wave pointy bits around. It's nice. Wrong way. Anyway, but yes, that was such a good technique, and that it was a real threat to single weapon users. That the guy with the halberd, friend of mine, still a good friend of mine. Yeah, dual wielding, you could destroy that, or sword and shield. Sword and shield did the same thing. WizKid says, I really want to learn sword and buckler because of how versatile they are. I never learned it quite well. Yeah, it was, I did, yes, so one of my characters was Scottish, so Scottish Highlander type. Her again. I'm going to get this first because I need it, because I actually am using Metagel. Let's talk to her. Yeah, yes, I very much did use I basically used it like a Scottish broadsword. With a little bit of Chinese broadsword, because that's my actual training. Chinese Dao, or saber, broadsword, call it what you want.
I shut down the security cams as soon as I saw it was you. Never thought I'd say it, but I'm glad it's you shooting up the place. Sorry, ran a Thanoptis. You let me go when you destroyed Saren's lab on Vermeer. Had to outrun a nuke in a utility pod, but it's still a second chance.
WizKid says, halberds are probably my favorite spear-type weapon, and one of my biggest complaints with Breath of the Wild is how you can only stab with them and not use them for slashing. I'm not a huge fan of halberds, because they're really easy to lock down. Yeah, glitch, it's acting like my health is low. That is also what I think. I know how to fix it. I can die. or you can retry checkpoint or whatever. I might actually retry checkpoint at some point once I know there is one. But we'll see. We'll see. Anyway, this is the Asari from last game who we told to run away from an explosion, and we're gonna do it again. Yay!
I assume you have a good reason for being at this lab? Don't worry, I'm not wasting the chance you gave me. My work here, strictly beneficial. Not for the mercs. Jador's on a standard power trip. But Okir is trying to do something good, even if his methods are a little extreme.
What?
Everyone deserves a second chance, right? And sometimes giving one pays off. I take care of my debts.
Yeah, this is irritating, but fine. We'll live with it. Oh, I didn't answer kind of your implied question. I prefer long weapons. I just prefer a spear. I prefer a spear. It's very straightforward. It's very simple. It's very fast. Because again, I primarily my actual real training is in Mitsung Lohan, Northern Long Fist Kung Fu. If you're familiar with Avatar: The Last Airbender, it's firebending. That is my most familiar actual fighting style. It's what firebending is very heavily based on. So that is what I'm most familiar with. A little bit of Bagua, especially for weapons, for saber and whatnot. Just also putting it in Avatar terms, that's what airbending is based on. Yeah, I've studied very little historical European martial arts, and only from primary sources. I've never actually learned from someone specifically who knew what they were doing in the field. I've learned from manuals, like historical technical manuals, and integrated into my own style. That's about all. Back in my LARP days. Let me know at some point. I'll see if I can find some of the videos of me fighting. I'll show you what I'm talking about. 1-to-1. I'll let me know. Maybe I'll share it in the D&D chat so you can see too.
What is Okir trying to do here? It's complicated. Jador wants a private army, but Okir mostly ignores her. He's running the project for his own reasons. I created a mental imprint routine to educate his tank bred. Most don't get through it. He dumps them for some reason. He wants to help his people, but he's not looking for a genophage cure, and he's not going for numbers. That's all I know.
Yeah, it's not super clear what Okir's actual goal is. I know it's to make the perfect Krogan soldier. Hopefully you guys can hear okay well enough, at least with subtitles for this conversation. After which, yeah, I think I'm going to save and reload, see if that works. Okay, WizKid, it's going to bug me if I don't correct you. No, Shaolin is not really used in Avatar. That's primarily because Shaolin is a very, very broad collection of schools. Airbending is Bagua, which I've also learned quite a bit of. Earthbending is Hungar primarily, which I learned literally none of. I know none of that at all. But Toph specifically brings in elements from Mantis, from Praying Mantis, which is a Shaolin school. That's maybe where you're thinking of Shaolin, which that I've learned a bit of. I learned a little bit of Mantis Shaolin. And waterbending is Tai Chi, which I know quite a bit of, and even like the guy, my Shifu who taught me Kung Fu, used these techniques in sparring and whatnot, including some Tai Chi techniques, and it can be effective if you don't do it like the actual movements work, but in the forms. I don't know how to explain this well. It's like the training is to get the muscle memory right for the minutia, but then the application winds up being subtly different. I don't know how to explain that too super well at the moment, because again, I've mentioned this before in terms of swordplay. Western versus Eastern swordplay are very, very different. Eastern swordplay and Eastern martial arts training is all about developing a familiarity with the weapon. That includes natural weapons, so your body, Whereas Western swordplay is all about the very precise use of the weapon as a tool. So you learn the specific techniques that you're going to use in combat. Whereas Eastern martial arts, you learn how to use the weapon, and then combat flows from that. It's a very, very different approach. I prefer the Eastern way, but it's a lot more difficult. Yeah, no, all is forgiven. It's good. The bending styles. That's part of why I loved Avatar growing up, because it came out right when I was really I was doing a lot of training kung fu. All right, get out of here, Brenna.
Finding you in a place like this makes me think letting you go was a mistake. You don't want that.
We agree on that. Don't worry. I plan on staying as far away from anything to do with you as possible. Now, if you don't mind, I'm gonna run like hell before you blow the place or something. I know how you work.
Should have killed her. Too much knowledge without ethical boundaries.
Oh, down. Warden. All right. I'm gonna... Did I already hack this? Yeah. All right, I'm gonna save and reload real quick. Not that. There. See if this helps. WizKid, so to what you said, that applies to Tai Chi, but for more external styles like Mitsung, like Mitsung Lohan, much better. There still is this distinction between the practice and the application, except it's that the movements are just more dynamic, more broad, which that is a different kind of difference if you want. Whereas in practice, the movements are going to be closer in. They're going to be more restrictive rather than because long fist is Mitsung Lohan means something long fist. Lohan means long fist, and hence, like if you watched like the Dancing Dragons, the firebending form from like the 3rd season, there's a lot of very open movement, which is not going to be practical when you're fighting, but it's to learn to open your body and extend fully, which is very important to the style in general.
Here you are. I've watched your progress.
Hi, Okir. I'm going to check out everything else first, because that's what one does.
I'll take it.
All right. I think that's it. Hey, look. Rogan.
It's about time. The batteries on these tanks will not wait while you play with these idiotic mercs.
I take it you're Okir. You don't seem particularly caged or grateful that I'm here.
You may claim to be here to help, but the formerly deceased shepherd is not a sign of gentle change. Surprised? All Krogan should know you. I'm sure Rana has already revisited your actions on Vermeer.
Oh, okay. WizKid says, one of the things I dislike the most about most martial artists online is how they act like none of it actually matters, or that after you're a child, it's completely inaccessible. Does that a lot. Rogan sure does, and that's because he's a mixed martial artist. MMA is a bastardization of martial arts. It is not a martial art. It is a fighting form. Very, very different things. And it's basic. Mixed martial arts is taking that, that distinction I've been making between Western and Eastern methods. It's taking techniques from Eastern martial arts and treating them with a Western eye, treating them like a technical manual. You don't learn to fight, or that's not true. You don't learn familiarity with the body as a fighting system with mixed martial arts. You learn techniques and applications. This is the difference between classical Japanese jiu-jitsu and Brazilian jiu-jitsu as well. Brazilian jiu-jitsu is a distinctively Western combat form, whereas traditional Japanese jiu-jitsu is familiarizing yourself with the body and the joints and how things work so you can grapple. I don't know much of either. My grappling experience is very limited, and it's all Eagle Claw, which is a standing thing. I don't know tumbling grapples, floor work. But in any case, yeah, it's a very important distinction. It's basically Western chauvinism, distaste for Eastern martial arts. That folks like Rogan and Crowder also does this a lot. Whenever he talks about martial arts, he's very much about it. But yeah, it's annoying. It drives me nuts.
I'm sure you're eager to retell the story.
Such a tale. Saren, the Spectre Traitor, threatens the return of the Krogan horde by curing the genophage, undoing the gentle genocide of the Turians and Solarians.
I love this guy. He's so dramatic.
But before Saren can deliver his endless troops, in rides Shepard, securing victory through nuclear fire. I like that part. It has weight.
Nice. See, I love this guy. He's so dramatic. He fits the tone for this game so well.
I didn't have a lot of room for finesse. If there'd been any other solution, I'd have considered it.
But I approve. Saren's pale horde were not true Krogan. Numbers alone are nothing. The mistake of an outsider. One that these mercenaries have also made. I gave their leader my rejects for her army, but she grows impatient. It's time for you to take me out of here.
Personal issues irrelevant. Here for the collectors.
I see. Yes, collector attacks have increased. A human concern. My requests were focused elsewhere. I acquired the knowledge to create one pure soldier. With that, I will inflict upon the genophage the greatest insult an enemy can suffer. To be ignored.
Okay, so Kylie says this guy's storytelling is giving Olaf from Frozen 2 vibes. I see what you mean, but I don't want to agree. I definitely see the connection. I will honestly say that was one of my favorite parts of Frozen 2. The story was crazy, outlandish, and a lot of times nonsensical. But Olaf's retelling of the first was really, really, and the second, and honestly the second up to that point, that was really, really entertaining. And please don't unsubscribe. But I loved Kristoff's musical number, the stupid 80s rock ballad. That was so good. It really exposes that Frozen has absolutely no musical identity, that song can fit perfectly in with the rest of the movie without being a tonal mess. But hate that I love it, but I sure do. Anyway, that's my thought on Frozen 2. Kylie says my friend and I have an inside joke about the name Samantha because of the movie. So does everybody. So does my friend Samantha, who works at Disney. WizKid says that makes sense. Talking about back to martial arts a bit. Like you said, one is all about treating it like a tool set purely for combat, and one is more about familiarizing yourself with all facets of the body and learning how to apply it. Yeah, it's perfect summary of the distinction. Let's talk. What the heck does he mean by ignoring the genophage? That's weird.
So you don't want to cure the genophage?
Contrary to what survivors claim, the genophage does not produce strong Krogan. The only quality it filters is the ability to survive the genophage. For every 1,000 stillborn, too many weaklings live. Every survivor is branded as precious. That's produced more cuddling than your collective human teats. I say, let us carry the genophage. Let 1,000 die in a clutch. We will defeat it by climbing atop our dead. That is the Krogan way.
Shepard, with her human teats, is offended. What about the Rajax? That's kind of a problem.
Your search for the perfect soldier created a lot of failures. You don't care about them?
I failed no one. My rejects are exactly what Jador asked for. She simply lacks the ability to command. They are strong, healthy, and useless to me. I need perfection. If a few thousand are rejected, so be it. My work will purify the Krogan. We will not be restored. We will be renewed.
What did you get from the collectors? I need whatever you know about them.
They are strange, so isolated, yet very available when your sacrifice is big enough. I gave them mini Krogan. I may have information for you, but the tech was consumed in my prototype, after I determined how to use it without killing the subjects. The deaths were unfortunate, but I only need one success to start the process.
I thought the Krogan ideal was a return to the numbers that threatened the galaxy.
We will not need numbers. My soldier is a template. It is a greater threat than all the Phantom siblings that would have been at its flank. The galaxy still bears the scars of the Horde, but it will learn to fear the lands.
Just talking a big game for Grunt.
Your methods are extreme, but you know how to deconstruct a threat. Will you help us?
Perhaps I can strike a deal to secure passage, but my prototype is not negotiable. It is the key to my legacy.
Attention, I have traced the Krogan release. Okeer, of course. I'm calling blank slate on this project. Gas these commandos and start over from Okeer's data. Flush the tanks.
Uh-oh. Kylie says, does anyone else think Okeer is one more dramatic phrase away from a musical number?
She'll kill my legacy
Almost.
with a damn valve.
Wrong genre, but I could see it.
You want information on the collectors? Stop her. She'll try to access contaminants in the storage bay.
You could just start over like she plans to. What's the big deal?
This tank is pure. It involved as much trial as data. Starting over will not duplicate it. It must survive. Jador will be with the rejected tanks. Kill her. I will stay and do what must be done.
Okay. Yeah, WizKid says that would have happened. That would have happened at the beginning if it was going to happen. Yeah, that's true. I'm gonna need this because Krogan. So are you?
Understood.
There she is. Still talking.
Just the thing to help.
She's dead.
Soldier.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That's not good.
Systems failing.
Krogan incoming. Oh, gotta hurt him.
Oof, this is tough. All right.
Assessment requested.
Wait a minute.
Impending explosion.
Alarms? Okeer's done something back in the lab. What the hell?
Shepard, the lab alarms coincided with the system's failure. The remaining lab systems are unprotected, and I have gained limited access. According to lab scanners, the room is flooded with toxins and Okeer's personal life signs are failing rapidly. I recommend haste.
Oh no. Oh no. Kylie says, I feel like his musical number would have been Tamatoa's from Moana. Vibes as far as music and choreo. Okay. I did not like that musical number. Damn. Are you okay here?
He was ruthless, but died to save this one Krogan?
Delusional. Unlikely one Krogan, however strong, could have impact Okier wanted. Am almost certain. Suggest leaving it.
Afraid he'll make your genophage obsolete?
No, but Krogan genetically dangerous, socially dangerous as well. Have enough enemies without adding this.
Normandy, Okier is a no-go, but we have a package that needs retrieval. And he's a big one.
His eyes are just locked open. It's terrifying. Alright, let's meet him. And then we'll wrap for the night. And we'll be a little past midnight, but that's okay for now. No, I'm not saying it. You guys, feel free to sing in the chat. Have fun. I will not do that. Forgive me. One of my, honestly, I'll say it. It's one of my least favorite Disney musical numbers. Sorry. Maybe even below Let It Go. Mostly because Let It Go I dislike just purely because it's overplayed. No.
Makes sense, but I have concerns about waking it.
Yeah, you've said that a few times now.
A normal Krogan is dangerous. This one was created and likely educated by a madman.
There's no way he's getting out unless one of us lets him out.
Or unless Okier installed some sort of failsafe. Or a malfunction causes the tank to shut down.
I'm not saying we take a crowbar to it right now, but I'm not giving up a potential resource.
It's your decision, Commander. Just be careful.
Noted. The cargo hold is safe enough while I decide what to do with him.
Enough stalling, let's go open him up. Whee! WizKid says Schaeferless Productions wants to know your location. I know he likes shiny. I know he practically worships Tamatoa, but listen.
The elusive man wishes to speak to you in the debriefing room, Commander.
Ah, let's do that next time. It's down in engineering. Yeah, Erica says no. Let It Go with what's her name? What's her name's voice sounds like it's about to break. It sounds like she's hurting herself. It sounds awful. Shiny is at least really good and funny song, just doesn't fit. That's true. I think maybe the biggest problem is it doesn't fit. It's way too poppy for a movie like Moana. Ellie says I just like the absurdity of the musical number. It is that's true. I'll give you that. And I related to Tamatoa spacing out every other sentence Edna mode. Okay. Okay, I guess. I don't know if you're going to convince me, but okay, I can see the appeal.
The subject is stable, Shepard. Integration with onboard systems was seamless.
Can he see anything in there? Does he know where he is?
Unlikely. Current neural patterns indicate minimal cognition. Barring ship-wide power loss, the nutrients in the tank could sustain him for over a year.
Any idea how dangerous this guy is?
He is a Krogan, Shepard. If you were asking whether he is actively hostile, I don't have the necessary data to answer. Okir's technology could impart data, not methods of thinking. The subject may know of his views, but would not necessarily share them.
Cool to know. WizKid says I'm starting to believe he, meaning Schaefer Ellis, is becoming the physical avatar of Tamatoa in the modern world. I hope not. That's weird. We don't need a Tamatoa in the real world. No, we don't need it. I mean, Tamatoa is just a dragon, just underwater dragon, right? With the treasure hoard and stuff, right? Seems to me. I gotta say, his video on Megamind was probably my favorite. It still introduced me to his channel, and I think it was still his best work because Megamind is absolutely an underappreciated masterpiece. Kylie says, yeah, the actress definitely took a safer route in the second movie. First one, she was straining her voice too much. Yeah, I tend to agree. Yeah. Second, the musical numbers in Frozen 2 were actually pretty good. Just overall, they were really good.
What can you tell me about this guy? Anything unusual?
The subject is an exceptional example of the Krogan species, with fully formed primary, secondary, and tertiary organs where applicable. No defects of any kind, aside from the genetic markers of the genophage present in all Krogan. I cannot judge mental functioning.
Oh no. I'm afraid I might know where you're going to put Tamatoa in your D&D campaign, Erica. we'll talk about that. All right, let him out and let's give him a chat up and see how he's doing.
Stand by. I'm gonna open the tank and let him out.
Cerberus protocol is very clear regarding untested alien technology.
So? I don't work for Cerberus.
He's either a powerful addition to the crew or a time bomb. I'd rather deal with it now.
Very well, Shepard. The
In a
controls
cocktail
are
dress,
online.
of course, is the
The
best way of
switch
dealing with
and
such things.
consequences are yours.
All chats boil down to Disney eventually. There's two directions a chat can go on the internet: Disney or Hitler. And I'm glad. I mean, we've done Hitler before. I'm glad we went this direction tonight. Surprising given our talk about eugenics, but
oof. Human, female. Before you die, I need a name.
Nice.
I'm Commander Shepard, and I don't take threats lightly. I suggest you relax.
Not your name. Mine. I'm trained. I know things. But the tank, Okeer couldn't implant connection. His words are hollow. Warlord, legacy, Grunt. Grunt was among the last. It has no meaning. It'll do. I am Grunt. If you are worthy of your command, prove your strength and try to destroy me.
You wouldn't prefer Okeer or Legacy?
It's short. Matches the training in my blood. The other words are big things I don't feel. Maybe they fit your mouth better. I feel nothing for Okeer's clan or his enemies. I'll do what I'm bred to do. Fight and determine the strongest. But his imprint has failed. Without a reason that's mine, one fight is as good as any other. Might as well start with you.
I have a good ship and a strong crew. A strong clan. You'd make it stronger.
If you're weak and choose weak enemies, I'll have to kill you.
Our enemies are worthy. No doubt about that.
That's acceptable. I'll fight for you.
I'm glad you saw reason.
Huh?
Nice.
Offer one hand, but arm the other. Wise Shepard. If I find a clan, if I find what I want, I will be honored to eventually pit them against you.
Cool dude. And yes, WizKid, Grunt can definitely die at the end of the game. I have actually accidentally gotten him killed once on one of my playthroughs. Because I made an oopsie final mission. I'll try not to do that this time. Okay, so listen. Kylie, Scar is Disney Hitler. Look at Be Prepared. Watch it. Like, think about this and go watch it, because Scar is Disney Hitler. Just trust me on this one. Less so Frollo. Frollo's really his own kind of psychopath. Same with Mother Gothel. But Scar is just Disney Hitler. 100%. Yep. To address the direction that the chat is unfortunately going. Yeah, 100%.
Shepard.
Anything in your tank imprints that can make use of the resources we found?
Might have something I could put together. Don't know how useful it will be.
Prototypes. Krogan shot. Oh, yes. The Claymore heavy shotgun. Only Grunt can use it, but it's awesome. Let's get it.
Shepard.
Did Okeer give you any imprints about the collectors?
I see blurry ships, guesswork about strength. Nothing to help pick a weak spot and tear. Okeer spent all his time on old hatreds. Whatever he had, it was used up when he made me.
What are your thoughts about our mission?
I fight. Doesn't matter who for.
Okay, simple enough. I love Grunt. He's so cool. He's squishy too. He's a cuddly little Krogan once you get to know him.
Just checking in, making sure you're acclimatizing.
Humans talk too much. Like the tank. Come back later.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
that's all for now.
Shepard.
That's all for now. Grunt. All right. I think we should call it there because it is after midnight. We will pick up next time talking with the Elusive Man and going on that major mission on Horizon that we were talking about. Do that, and then we will do some of maybe some side quests and maybe some introduction to maybe Ilium. Ilium is one of the next major planets where we're going to pick up a couple more squad mates, so maybe we'll do stuff over there next time. So we will see how things are going. Then the following week, there's obviously more recruitment missions. I think there's 3 more and then 1 more. So we'll do some of those as well. And then loyalty missions, and then more loyalty missions, and then more side quests, and then we go on our suicide mission, we survive it, and then we do a bunch of DLC, and that is Mass Effect 2. It'll only take a month or 2. Anyway, yeah, I too, I'm practicing waking up early for when classes start next week. So I too am probably going to go to pretty soon. So with that, I think we can call it a night. And thanks for tuning in. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for actually maintaining occasional eye contact this time. Not to stare too deeply into your soul, but in any case, it's a good stream. Tune in again on Thursday for Red Dead Redemption 2. We're going to continue doing some stuff in and around Saint Denis. Make some bad decisions, start on our path to absolute utter chaos. So anyway, with that, I will tell everybody good night and see you next time. Bye.